I want to do a podcast about films.
I'm not stopping you.
No, with you, you fool.
Oh, so you mean you want us to do a podcast about films?
Yes.
Well, why didn't you say that?
I did. I am.
Well, you can't say films. You need to say movies. It's a more broadly recognised term.
Yeah, don't worry about that now. Are you interested?
Well, we can't just talk about films we like. That would be boring.
Okay, then what about films we don't like?
That sounds even more boring.
Okay, how about this? Films we disagree on.
Ah, intriguing. So one of us likes it, the other one doesn't, and we discuss our opinions on the film?
I think you mean movie.
Yeah, don't worry about that now.
But yeah, that's the gist of it.
All right, I'm in.
Great.
Could still be boring, though.
You're boring.
I don't see how that's relevant.
Should we do one now? Hello and welcome to Movie the Needle, a podcast where two complete amateurs haphazardly dissect a film that one of us likes and one, well, not so much. My name's Simon, and I'm joined by my good friend Carl in our shed, where we will be explaining our opposing viewpoints and seeing whether we can movie the needle for one another. This week we are discussing the 2015 space sci-fi survival adventure directed by Ridley Scott and starring Matt Damon as a stranded botanist on Mars. Potatoes and disco music ensue. It's The Martian.
The first episode you listen to, they'll be like, why is he so excited about a shed?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true, yeah. Our shed! Oh.
What's this shed all about?
All right, chill out. Yeah. Some weird intonation on an introduction, well done. Wait, intonation? That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, good. I like it when I use a bigger word and it's right.
You,
Have we started?
You're gonna miss, yeah, we've started.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
You're going to miss the pube?
I'm certainly going to miss its vicinity to my house.
Yes.
Proximity to my house, I should say. Yeah, the walk over here, I'll be honest.
No, not for you. No.
You've seen the weather out there. It's awful.
Yeah, it's not great.
Summer, not too bad. I'm not a big fan of this winter.
Yeah.
It is September, but winter walk over. But, you know, it's another opportunity to listen to someone else's podcast for a little bit. So it's not all bad.
You mean you're not listening to us to get the numbers up?
Well, actually, I do need to as well, because I listen to one offline, as it were, rather than
doesn't count.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I do need to. And
Does the download not count?
I only listened on one format. I should be listening on everything that we're doing, YouTube and.
Yeah, they're only 2.5 hours a pop. Come on.
Yeah, crack on.
Get on with it.
Anyway, this week we are doing The Martian, and as has become tradition, Carl, there's a little game. Mm-hmm. I've given you a little bit of a warning about this game, in that I probably should have prepared you for it because it's a bit odd.
Well, peek behind the curtain. We will press stop on this recording between sections, so we could do it then.
Okay, cool. I mean, it might be shit. It probably will be shit, but
we'll make the best of it.
Well, you know, it's on brand. Is what I like to say.
It's on brand. So, good holiday. Been a while, hasn't it?
It was
another peek behind the curtain, because contrary to what you just said, on brand, if we get one thing right, it's a regular output. Damn
right. I mean, what was it? It was like every 6 days, 23 hours and 50 minutes on average, a podcast episode is released from Movie the Needle.
So, as I say, peek behind the curtain, we haven't actually seen each other for 3 weeks, let alone recorded a podcast.
This is
true.
You
wouldn't know that from your podcast feeds, would you?
No, see?
I tell you what, the majority of people wouldn't know that because they're not fucking listening.
But
those are.
One of the many reasons we don't deal with current affairs and current movie news, because it wouldn't bloody be current by the time we got around to releasing it. But yeah, there we go. No, holiday was good. It was sunny. That is a nice thing.
Mm-hmm. And it's not work.
Say again?
And it's not work.
Oh, definitely not work. Yeah. So yeah, it was very nice. Yeah. What about you? You've been away.
It was good, and it spawned a couple of points of order actually.
Okay. Hit me with the first one. Hit me with the first one.
Cocktails.
Yes.
So we talked about cocktails. What were our favourite cocktails? And I was a bit, cocktails are mostly shit. Which is an execution thing. It's not a...
Now, what we count as a cocktail? So remember, we did a cocktail thing, and technically a cocktail needs to just be...
3 or more ingredients, I thought.
Yes.
But I think you said you can even have rum and coke, like could say.
Yeah.
But, so I had real mixed bag.
Okay.
So I had a frozen daiquiri, or daiquiri,
Flavoured or just...
No, please, classic. Please.
Well, you've gone frozen.
Well, that's true. And I have had
Not
a
exactly
nice...
a purist here, Carl.
Yeah, that's true. I have had some nice frozen cocktails before. This was not one of them. Just fuck it. You know, like, have you ever get your kid one of those slushy drinks?
Yes.
And they never finish it.
No.
Because you suck the flavour out and then the rest of it's just ice.
Yeah.
It was like that. Rubbish.
Brain freeze as well as getting a bit pissed.
I did get a really nice daiquiri though, which over crushed ice this time. Much better. Really good. And then from that same bar, I was thinking, oh yeah, this is good. I'm going to get a Cuba Libre now. Rubbish. Put brown sugar in it.
Is that not...
No, that's not a thing.
No.
And it just sits at the bottom and it's all grainy when you're drinking it. Yeah, rubbish.
Speaking of cocktails and child's drink, so at our hotel that we were at, they had these like self-serve little jars of cocktails and stuff, and they had one for the kids, and one for the adults.
Just vodka in the kids' one.
So the kids obviously non-alcoholic, but usually it was blue.
All right.
Blue is the...
I was going to say they're usually just fruit juice with grenadine in, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, this was blue. This was blue. On the adult menu, there's also a blue cocktail.
Have you got him drunk?
I didn't get him drunk, but I definitely gave him alcohol, and didn't realise until he'd
knocked half of it back.
He'd drunk sub. But he was pretty pleased with himself.
Yeah,
He's had
he
his
was,
first alcoholic drink, and I mean, you taste that. I mean, I don't think there's a lot in there to start with, but yeah, it was very much like I just checked. I just went back to the bar as I was getting another beer and looked at the sign that said "alcoholic cocktail" right next to the thing that I'd ordered, and gone, "Oh,
whoops,
shit!" And then but he's still alive, so woo.
Yeah, good stuff.
Success.
My final cocktail was a frozen pina colada, which was good. So I was running on a 50-50 hit rate.
What's with all the frozen?
Was
it hot?
It was very hot. They're good in the sunshine, if they're good. But then, again, 50-50 on the frozens.
Do you like a pina colada? I've come round to a pina colada.
Good daytime drink.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, good daytime drink. Following on from the holiday chat, I have a clarification from a previous pod.
Oh, okay, yeah, good, go on.
We talked about ice cream before.
We did. Was that on the pod about the how to order in Spain?
How do you say you want it in a tub?
Yes.
Well, you know what cone is? It's the very imaginative Kono.
Sure.
Classic Spanglish.
Kono, I've dropped my ice cream.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Yeah.
There we go.
So I asked, and it's copper or vaso.
It's like a glass, isn't it?
Yeah, cup or glass. And I
that's
said,
confusing because glass in French is obviously ice cream as well. So this is very confusing.
Yeah. And I tried copper, blank stares. So that was a lie.
Who told you this then?
The person selling the ice cream.
Right. Well, the fuck do they know?
Yeah. Well, exactly. Apparently, none of her industry colleagues knew. Let's put it like that. Vaso though, that worked. So there you go.
So to get it in a tub, you order it in a glass.
You order it in a glass, yeah.
Fucking Spaniards.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
My final holiday note was my unending frustration at how bad the missus is at queuing.
Right, when you say she's bad at queuing, she
doesn't
recognise a line or is not patient.
No. The amount of queues we get forced out of, right?
Right.
Because as a group, we end up getting split up because she's not paying attention to, when somebody's trying to squeeze in there or cut in front of you there or the lines move. So I felt like fucking Ra's al Ghul telling her always mind her surroundings, for God's sake. It was unending. And then, of course, that made me chuckle when I thought of that reference, and I texted you that on.
I did wonder where that was where that come from.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so awful at queuing, cheers.
We've
there you go.
Non-holiday update, important for regular listeners to the pod. Ted's on the corner.
Ted's.
It's open. It opened whilst we were away.
And shout out to a listener, he knows who he is, for sending in intel about this as well. So
you been in yet?
No.
No, me neither. I've walked
He
past
has.
loads.
I think he has.
I keep walking past and going, oh, I could. But also my house is there.
yeah.
Right?
It's too close to your house, that.
I'm just popping out for a coffee, which I could get from downstairs.
Yeah, and you're too tight-fisted.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's like £3 plus a coffee, right? Come on. I mean, although I did say to the wife, I just said, do you want to go, during the day, do you want to go on a quick date to Ted's? Just grab a
Hey,
coffee.
put the spark back in it.
Yeah, exactly. And she was just looked at me like, why?
Hey, I was the beneficiary of your good lady wife's people skills the other day.
You were?
Yeah.
In what way?
She was behind me. Yeah, fucking hell, where's this going?
Oh, she was running.
We just finished shagging. Sorry you had to find out this, mate.
She was behind you.
She was behind me. I walked out to pick some parcels up.
I'm just confused about the sexual positions with my
She
wife.
was, pegging, mate. All the kids are doing it.
Great, yeah.
Wait, I take that back. That's not how I meant it. She was out running. She came up behind me, and then she just ran past and said hello. And then she said something along the lines of, I wasn't sure if it was you. And then what she said was, I was just wondering, that person's quite, and she used the word stocky.
Stocky, yes.
Yeah, which I thought was nice.
Did you think stocky is nice?
Well, it's nicer than fat, isn't it?
Right. So she said that. She told me this story when she got back, and she said, "Oh yeah, I said that he looked stocky, and I didn't recognise." I was like, "Do you think that's a compliment?"
Well, it's been a good holiday, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and I was just like, "Did you mean like?" He was, a bit more muscly and hench. No, and she was like, "That's kind of what I meant." Yeah, I was like, "That's not really what stocky means." Sorry.
Yeah. I think that technically is what stocky means. If you talk about like an athlete in that term, that's exactly what you mean. It's just most people use it as a nice way of saying fat, don't they?
Yeah, but apparently not. So, well,
we'll take the win. As I say, I thought very, very tactful, very much appreciated.
So I feel like we should do a grand intro to the shed. Right, just a little visual explanation of where we are in the world now. We've talked about the pube. The pube is no more. Well, it's still there. Like, it's just now an office. And cracking at the seams. There's a massive crack just appeared in the ceiling. I was just like,
oh, really?
Ooh.
It's like it knows.
Yeah, it's trying to tear itself apart. Exactly, yeah. But yeah, so I'm just going to visually describe
You mean audibly?
Our shed. What did I say? Visually?
Yeah.
Visually doesn't work. Audibly describe. Which is how you describe most things.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not writing it down.
No.
Our shed. Okay.
I think you're just going to describe it then.
Just imagine. There's chains, there's whips, there's dildos on the wall, a lot of silk, weirdly.
Mate, anything's a dildo if you're brave enough. Yeah. Look at that broom in the corner. Hell of a piece.
What's that got on the end? A nail?
A tag. A nail. Like in Seven Job.
No, but it's very nice. There will be some pictures starting to appear on the old socials, I think, because you've got some lovely little pieces, as it were.
No, I don't wish to exaggerate.
I should say.
I don't wish to exaggerate, but this is now, as things stand, by far the best room in the house.
Right. I've never actually been in your house.
No, and you'll see. I think after this, I'm trying to think in what order we've decorated them. After this, it'd be the living room. Bedrooms, they're tired. This is about 3 or 4 times better than the bedroom. The kitchen and bathroom, even more tired. So this is by far the nicest place.
I'll tell you what, you just install a toilet in here. I don't ever need to go in.
That's what my wife said earlier. She said, we'll put a toilet in there next and you can just go and live out there. Oh, yeah. Joke's on you. It's the nicest
holiday
room
went well, did it?
Yeah. I think she just wants the bed to herself, mate.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, so...
Oh, you were saying, though, you were going to say little pieces, movie related.
Little pieces. You got a nice little sign on the outside saying "Moving the Needle" with the logo and our shed. Very nice. And perhaps the most impressive thing is you've got what would we call that? Neon?
It's like a faux neon. It's not real
faux neon.
Yeah.
Cocktails and Dreams from the movie Cocktail sign, which is very good. It looks excellent in the dark. Yeah. Very good.
It's. I made sure. I know I said this to you the other day, but I made sure to get the one that matched the film.
It's good.
Yeah. Even to the point where I was like, it says cocktails because the cursive on it is weird. Yeah. I looked up and I thought, no, the one in the film says cocktails. That's fine with me.
Cocktails and denims.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But no, it's accurate to the film, so I can sleep at night. Thank you very much.
Alrighty. Are there any further before we get actually talking about the movie?
I have one tiny little thing.
I've got one tiny little thing as well. And then I'll talk about the correction.
Yeah. We talked on our mailbag episode
You're going back a bit here. Okay.
Yeah, about streaming and
Yes, Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon, which I referenced in an interview, which he spoke well on it. That popped up again on my feed. And there was one tiny little detail that I forgot to mention at the time, and it was around DVD sales, because streaming's knocked out the DVD sales.
Yeah.
His point was you could actually make a movie at a loss because you knew the DVD...
In the theatres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you knew the DVD sales would pick it up. That doesn't happen anymore, which is why the middle has dropped out of films, because they're not going for anything other than bankers or cheap films, because there is no after sales to pick it up. So, it was a nice little detail that makes a lot of sense, really. But sad times on that.
Yeah. I saw that as well. It was very well spoken of him and well explained, and I hadn't really thought about it. And
right. And he's a movie maker, right, himself.
Yeah, exactly.
He makes a lot of movies,
doesn't just act in them. He's a producer and all of that. So there we go. So this was a slight correction. It was one from you. You actually corrected yourself whilst on it, but it got me thinking about it. So in the Joker episode, we were talking about Tim Burton and Michael Keaton's Batman movie, and you referred to it as the Michael Burton Batman movie. And I was just like, which I didn't notice at the time. And then you did say Tim Burton later, so it's not like you didn't know it was Tim Burton and it was Michael Keaton. But I quite like how we should do this for others, where we just combine the actor and the director and just say it's a Leonardo Scorsese movie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Quentin L. Jackson.
Yes.
They've been working together again. David O. Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Wes Murray.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot for Wes.
Yeah, basically his whole cast in every single movie.
Yeah. Wes Hanks you can have.
Hanks?
Yeah, Tom Hanks has been in...
he's been in a couple, I suppose, Yeah, the less good ones.
Yeah. Wes Brody, another one.
Yes, yeah, indeed.
Anyway,
right, I'm really thirsty and my voice is going out, so you know what we need to do?
We need to unveil the ale.
Unveil the ale.
Right.
So, before you unveil the movie-related ale, you did give me a job on my holiday.
I did, yeah.
So, Carl sent me a message to say, I went to Turkey, which is where I went, and I missed out on this beer. I didn't get him that beer, because I couldn't find it. But I got you one that I thought was it, which he's already had, which he called the 6th best beer in all of Turkey. So
you shouldn't read too much into that.
Crack on.
I just picked that number randomly.
I know, but it's good. But I did get a beer that you've not had.
I quite like that beer, though.
And it is, of course, you go all the way to Turkey, and what do you get? Belfast.
Is that now...
Smooth taste premium Irish lager.
Is that a Turkish Irish lager?
Brewed in Turkey.
Oh, lovely. Yes.
Yeah, so a Turkey Irish lager called Belfast. So there you go. You can drink now. You don't have to drink that now. You can have that. And I brought a couple of those other ones.
Put it in the fridge.
That we can crack through later if we run out of movie-related beer. So there you go. I didn't want to steal your unveiling of the ale roll within this, but hey-ho. All right.
Here we go.
We don't have to shuffle in your sack anymore. It's shuffle in the beer fridge.
Yeah.
We've moved on.
Yeah, the beer fridge. Okay, so this is related to the film.
Good.
Sort of. A bit of word association.
Sure.
Now, when I think of The Martian, the movie, there's one word that springs to mind. What do you think that word would be?
Utter shite. No, that's not.
No. Come on, think of the themes of the movie. What word would you say?
Loneliness. Potatoes.
No, not that one. No. Come on, there's one word. it's
Mars.
really obvious. Huh?
Mars.
No, it's not Mars.
Hermes.
No, believe me, I tried to find a bit that said Mars. No.
One word.
Come on, it's really obvious.
Survival.
I thought this would be... No, it's not survival. I thought this would be snappy.
Is it? Okay. Let me see if I can get it if you show me the beer.
It is, of course, the word I think of.
Of course.
Definitely, first.
Yeah. Without even delay.
Is duration.
Duration?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was up there for a while, wasn't he? Oh.
Right, for the duration.
Well, I had to stretch the spuds all that time, yeah. So this is by... I think actually duration is the brewery, which I didn't notice, so that rather ruins that. Because the beer's called Sweeping Coast.
Which doesn't...
Yeah, Sweeping Coast. It's... Christ, the wheels are coming off. But it is a West Coast Pale Ale at 4.8%. So let's have it. Oh, and I have one little other accessory.
Oh, okay. I'm quite excited. As Carl shuffles along in his flip-flops. You'll pick that up on your day. It'll sound really good. Hello. Oh, chilled glasses. It's going to stick to my face. Oh, Flying Dog Brewery glass.
We're definitely not in the pube anymore.
We're not. No. Hey, I gave you Mad Squirrel glasses. They weren't chilled, but Mad Squirrel.
All right.
Good brewery from my hometown, Watford. Very nice.
They're a decent brewery. Oh, it's very pale. Straw coloured.
I can't see through the frosted glass.
Not bad at all.
You don't have to bang stuff down on the desk because we're doing an audio medium. So it's audio medium? Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, there we go.
Should we put those in the fridge as well?
Ooh. Let's.
Right, there is one more bit, isn't there? Apologies.
We've done that. Corrections, apologies. Are we still recording? Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ, I thought that was it. That was me. Oh, this is awful.
Corrections and apologies. All right, fair enough. But I've got an apology as well.
Okay, what's your apology?
From the Predator episode.
You derailed the bloody podcast. Is that your apology?
No. Christ, if I apologise for that, would be here all night. Like more so. It's from our Predator episode. It's to Jesse the Body Ventura.
Oh yeah, I did have that note.
Yep. And it seems that his politics are not quite as entrenched and, let's say...
Is he the one you wish dead?
As bad. Oh, no, I don't know. Did I? Oh. Maybe not. He's not such a bad egg anyway. Because he again came across my feed in the period since we last spoke, saying that Trump's a big old wrong'un and endorsing the Democratic candidate. So fair enough. Mm-hmm. He is, after all, a man of reason. So sorry, Jesse, if you're listening, please don't sue me.
And live. All right, so let's get on to things. You might have forgotten we were meant to be talking about movies. It's been so long since we mentioned it, but we are actually talking about The Martian today. But a reminder of our ratings first of all. So we have a simple 5-point scale altogether now. It's, I really don't like it. You don't like it. You're ambivalent to it. You like it, or you really like it. So let's find out where each of us sits on that scale for The Martian. And I will start, and I will say that I like this movie. Carl, where do you sit?
I don't like it.
You don't like it. So 2 degrees of disagreement, correct? Excellent. So I'll start with why I like it. Just short, snappy. It's dramatic. It's funny. It's technically sound, to my knowledge. And it's based on a book that I love. And it's a really good adaptation of that book, which is not particularly common. We'll come into more detail about other things that I like about it, but that pretty much wraps it up into a neat little bow. So, Carl, what don't you like?
Shit frozen cocktails.
We've covered that.
Yeah. I didn't know this was a book, so I'm interested to hear about that. So
How much research have you done for this if you didn't know it was based on
I don't really research the films. So
okay. That's evident.
Just watch them, mate. Yes. Yes, I'm quite excited about this. In fact, the last few we've done where I don't like them, I've been excited to basically give them a second chance and see, see if it goes the other way or whatever, or sometimes it's gone the other way, or we've had a little shift after a discussion. So I still don't like it, but the rewatch did bring me some clarity as to why I don't like it, and much of my problem...
Does it start with Matt and end in Damon?
Well, sort of. It lies with Mark Watney. Now, I know that's not exactly...
the character, rather.
Yeah, and he's like most of the movie in a lot of ways. And I'm not sure how much of this lies with Damon or the production. We'll discuss that in those sections. And I did find some things to appreciate about it too, but I'll be honest, I think you've got your work cut out to move me needle. Because, overall, just for you this, I just don't vibe with this film.
Don't vibe.
It just doesn't land.
Well, that's fine. That's allowed. We'll see what we can do. By we, I mean me. I don't know why I said we. See what I can do. Yeah. It's weird. All right, let's move on to the cast. And I think there's only one place to start. Obviously, it's Carl's favourite actor, Matt Damon, who plays Mark Watney, his favourite character.
Yes. Yeah.
Sidebar, I mean, Mark, solid Matt Damon character name, I think. He could
Yeah,
pull off
bland
Mark.
as fuck.
Mark.
Yeah.
Mark.
That's about right.
Yeah. So I'll start because you're going to disagree. But I think this might be one of the best sort of fits, I think, for Matt Damon and character. The other one being his role in Oppenheimer, I thought was a really good fit for.
I completely agree.
Matt Damon
with the
character.
Oppenheimer. He's excellent in that role.
Yeah, different characters, very different characters, but
you're right, a really good fit, a really good piece of casting.
Yeah, so I think it kind of actor meets personality, feels like a good fit for him. I also think he's, in terms of his acting, he's actually very good in this. In terms of he does have to do a little bit of the emotional heavy lifting when it comes, and there's a couple of points in there, like when he's doing essentially his first diary entry, and there's just this pause as everything kind of dawns on him, and you kind of see a shift in his eyes as realization hits him, and then a real emotional bit where he's hearing his crew's voices for the first time again on the ship when they're coming sort of for the rescue, and his reaction to that, I thought was pretty genuine looking, and reading a bit about it, it turns out maybe he wasn't acting and actually did get very emotional when he heard their voices because he hadn't seen them for 6 weeks because he'd just been acting on his own for that long.
Yeah, 6 weeks, that's the same as what his character had to go through. Christ.
So what do you make of
listen,
Matty D?
First off, fuck you. I'm a fair man. Opening up with... well, you're going to disagree. Sniffy.
All right, no, surprise me.
Sniffy. I don't entirely disagree.
Okay.
I am, let's say, mixed. I know where you're coming from with the casting, and like that character suits him in a different way to the Oppenheimer one, as you say, because I think in real life his character would be boring. It would be a bit more, not straight-laced, but like...
You're saying botanists are boring?
Well, I'm saying they're not necessarily the most charismatic
charismatic
of people, which is something I also happen to think Matt Damon is not. So, in terms of like casting him in that role for realism, I think it would have been a good choice. And I agree with some of the acting notes as well. When he has to act at like pretending to be hurt, at the start when he's injured.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah,
very good. There's, like you say, there's a couple of other examples as well. But this isn't an entirely serious movie. It's not an entirely serious director. Ridley Scott, famed for his, well, fuck you, I want to do it like this. I don't care what's realistic. I think this is cool. We're going to do this, right? So, and of course, it doesn't end up being that either. Fucking disco music and all that nonsense, which we'll get onto. Where I don't buy him at all, so yeah, there's all that good stuff. Where I don't buy him at all is the banter, that levity. I think he's completely right. So is he a good casting choice? For me, if the movie is what it maybe could have been instead of what it is, yeah, I think it probably is a good choice. But I don't entirely agree that it turns out that way. And again, maybe that's not his fault. We'll talk about this in production. But there are times when I really didn't like him in the movie. But it's not all bad. I'm a fair man, Simon.
Who do you want to move on to next? To give you a free choice.
Chastain.
Okay, yep, nice, Captain, oh my God, Lee, what?
It's Lewis, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've written Captain Lee, which that's clearly a typo. Captain Lewis. Yeah, I thought she was very good in this. Well, she did authoritative with humanity really well, and I thought similar to, I've not seen her in a great deal, I'll be honest, but I've seen Zero Dark 30.
Yeah, she was good.
I thought she was very good in that.
Yeah,
I thought she was, obviously it's not a huge role in this. It's very much a Matt Damon show with then a lot of other secondary characters, and there's quite a lot.
Well, yeah, there is actually. Yeah, your brother said this well. when he emailed in talking about The Departed, Vera Farmiga. Chastain, for me, I wrote, yeah, she's all right. And I think the problem is her part is underwritten. Your brother's phrase was, she was as good as that part allowed her to be.
Yeah.
And she was. She didn't have a lot to do, and I think that's to the film's detriment. Again, we'll discuss that in plot. She's okay. Now, you've already mentioned something I've got in my notes. There is a lot of other secondary characters. So when we move on to talking about them, I only have notes for one more because they are so just little bit parts, so they're not really allowed to impress themselves.
They're almost like extended cameos, quite a lot of them.
Yeah, they are. Like, did we decide on Vig or Wig?
I mean, I think everyone just says weak, right?
Weak, yeah.
Weak.
Weak. Wanted to write a note on her. Nothing sprung to mind when I was watching the film because I type out my notes as I'm watching it and then revisit them after. When I was revisiting afterwards, meh, just nothing jumped out.
No, I mean she's essentially there to add a little comic relief, and I think particularly her casting was there to. They probably said to her, "All right, just put in some lines, just throw some stuff out there." And actually, looking at some of the outtakes on the Blu-ray extras that I watched, there is a few bits of that where she's sort of throwing in things and having a bit of fun.
Okay.
But the trouble that I have with her is that I don't actually think she's that funny. So yeah, she's a bit of a strange character, a bit of a strange actress choice for it, I think. But yeah, there are a lot of. So who's your third one?
Well, similarly, Kate Mara, right? The same thing. I've seen her in what's it with Kevin Spacey? House of Cards.
Oh right, yeah.
House of Cards. She plays the journalist in the early seasons, and she was really good in that. And you see her pop up, and I think, oh yeah, she's like, she plays a real spunky character in House of Cards. And I was thinking, we're going to get. She's nothing for her to do. That's a shame. No, my third one was Jeff Daniels Sanders.
Oh yeah,
I love him in this sort of latter day guys that he's got. He just nails a tone. He's got sarky. He's got authoritative.
Yeah,
he's really good, and he's excellent in this.
Totally believable as a director of NASA.
Yeah,
and he's got some really good. Like, you can tell he's got the comedy chops, right? Because just some of the timing of lines and just the
put downs and
and just the reactions and stuff like that. Like, one of his the favourite lines is it's like, "Hi, I'm Teddy, the director of NASA," as like the kid that comes in and is just like he's completely unfussed about everything.
Yeah.
Just the way that he deals with it.
Yeah,
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. Hear this, you little shit.
But yeah, I thought he did like he's got some dramatic bits to do serious bits, but like as you say, I mean, you said at the start, this film isn't entirely serious, and like I mean that aligns with the book, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah,
It's a funny book that's very heavily science based and pretty accurate as well. But Jeff Daniels great. I thought he was brilliant, and he that role, like you just go, it's Jeff Daniels' role, and he's done similar roles recently on TV and
that's right. I can't remember the name of the thing.
The
Newsroom, is it?
Yeah, Newsroom.
Yeah.
So he's done that sort of thing, but
really, really, really great. Liked him a lot in that.
So are you? Have you not got notes for this next actor because you're scared to say his name, or because you just didn't have a note for him?
Well, you're not talking about Nate the Great, are you?
No, Nate the Great. No, yeah.
Nick
not
Mohammed.
really sure I got notes for that, for his 3 lines that he has.
Hey, he's got more than 3 lines.
Well, he sees what he's doing with the hexadecimal system.
Absolutely.
That's about all I remember.
Are you talking about Pena?
Nope. I know. You know how to say Pena. You go.
Sean Bean?
No, Sean Bean. That's how you
Sean
say
Bean?
that one.
Sean Bourne?
No.
Just pick a camp, Sean. That's all we ask.
Vincent Kapoor, the character. I was fearing the day where we'd be.
I should have made a note on him because he's good.
Yeah. What's his name?
Well, you said Vincent Kapoor.
Yeah, what's the actor's name?
Oh, is it Elijah?
No.
No, I don't know. I've not written it down, so.
You know how I've written it down?
Hang on. Let me see if I can butcher it. Okay. Having actually read it.
I was genuinely going like.
Okay. Chiwetel Ejiofor?
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yeah, there you go. Okay,
very good.
He's very good. He's good in a lot of stuff that I see him in.
Not Indian though, is he? Well, is the only thing I'll say there. That I think Vincent, they changed his first name, the character's first name, but Kapoor, very much an Indian surname, isn't it?
Mate, I would not like to get involved.
Yeah. Anyway, but I thought he was actually very good at this, and he's a very good actor. He's very much just good in everything.
Yeah, he is.
Great,
He's not fucking Indian though, is he?
Great in Love Actually, though. So this is the right. I don't know if you ever have this problem with like book adaptations and stuff, because you're very familiar with the book, and then you're like very attached to like the characters and stuff, and then when they change them slightly, and this is a very straight adaptation in terms of like for like. So when they do change little things like that, and I think they did have an Indian actor in a like sort of lined up for it, and then it fell out, and so they went for Chiwetel. But yeah, I thought he was good, to be fair. So.
Yeah. The longest review I think I've ever written on Letterboxd is me pouring my disappointed heart out about the Rum Diary.
Oh right,
which is a really
I like rum. I like diaries.
Fun is the wrong word, because it's pretty dark in places, but it's only like a novella, really.
Just in case that gets picked up in the microphone. That's the
yes. This is the problem with
the 953 going past. Whereas Carl's house is essentially on a train track.
Yeah, that's the problem with the shed. So it's only a novella, but it's a real punchy read. And they got it so wrong, and I was so very upset about it. So it's just such a risk, isn't it? Because you have an idea about the story and the characters and everything, and books just allow you to fill in so many blanks yourself and go off in so many directions that movies don't. And then, of course, movies are there slapping you around the face with, it looks like this, and it sounds like this. Oh, that's not right.
The worst one for me, and I would sidetrack slightly, is I Am Legend.
Oh, okay.
So I read the book. I think it's written in the 50s. That book, brilliant. Short read as well, like well worth reading. Yeah. Excellent. And then the Will Smith movie came out and shat all over it. And in particular, shat all over the ending, which is like the best bit of the book.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, very frustrating. So that was one where you're just like, really bad. But generally, like it's a fool's errand to try and...
It is.
If you've read the book and you love the book, like it's rare you're going to find a film that you love equally. And I think, not that you've watched any of these, and we'll talk about this later actually, Lord of the Rings, you've not read or watched any of them. No. But I think, again, that's one of those sort of rare ones where it's a very good adaptation that you have like these massive fanboys that would love it, and they're actually, no, it's great. But yeah. Sean Bean?
Yeah, he was all right.
Or as I wrote in my notes, Sean fucking Bean! Because I completely forgot he was even in this.
He didn't say bastard once.
But he didn't say bastard. It should be contracted that he has to say it once in every movie.
Like when Jeff Daniels, I forget his name now. What's Jeff Daniels' character?
Teddy Sanders.
Yeah, when Sanders says to him, I'm going to expect you to be it would have been bastard. He just dropped that in. It was brilliant.
So another couple of just little... essentially glorified cameos, but Benedict Wong as Bruce NG, always fun to watch.
Bruce NG, did you say?
No, sorry, how do you say that?
I don't know, but I'm telling you now, it's not NG, is it?
Is it not?
It can't be. You think the two letters NG next to each other, you say is NG.
I had a kid at school, and that's how...
Oh, is it? Well, then I'm the arsehole.
Yeah. Jonathan NG, if you're listening. That's definitely how he said it. I mean, I never got corrected.
Do you know, it's probably one of those where he's just going, it's just easier, for God's sake.
Yeah, I'm a bit scared now.
Yeah.
Usually I don't care about offending people, but generally I've been saying that a lot throughout my school life and stuff as well. So anyway, you Google that, I'll talk about films. And then the other one was Donald Glover, Rich Purnell. Are you familiar with Donald Glover?
No, I don't think I've seen him in anything. He got an alter ego that's Childish Gambino. That's him, isn't it? That's and he had like a big hit a few years ago. Yeah,
generally a very talented little fucker. He's one of those that can kind of do everything.
Is he Danny's lad? Is he?
Is he? I don't know actually.
It's usually Don Glover, Danny's lad. Yeah,
I don't know actually if they are related.
Is he not?
I feel like I should know that. I want to say no, but maybe they are. But yeah, again, great little extended cameo. And again, watching the Blu-rays and then just shouting out for the what am I trying to say? Media, thingy media. He's too busy looking up phone how to pronounce NG. He's not even listening to me. I could say anything.
Yeah, well, I think I've done a racism.
Physical media. There we go.
Because I think he's nothing to do with Danny Glover. Why would he be? Just because he's called Glover and they're both black. Oh dear.
Oh Jesus! Right. Anyway, but yeah, he was good in the DVD extras, Blu-ray extras. So there's a bit where he falls down. Do you remember where he gets off the desk and falls over?
Yeah.
And that was completely like that he just fell over. And they filmed it and kept it in.
Well, let's talk about the decision, but that does make some sense because I wrote about that bit. I was going,
it's a bit
what
weird.
the fuck are they doing that?
Yeah, it's like slapstick now, is it?
Yeah, exactly that. I was like, oh Christ. But yeah, okay.
So I think they captured it and were just like, fuck it, keep it in.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm going to be generous and say they were tight on scheduling that day, so fuck, that'll have to do rather than, wow, that's a good decision.
Yeah, but it's funny because we talked about there's a lot of like very minor characters and there are a lot of them. And I can't really make up my mind whether it matters or not because like Michael Pena, he's always fun to watch. I do like a Michael Pena,
yeah,
good actor. Always, he does play a kind of similar thing in quite a lot of things. But in this in particular, very very fun and very good match as sort of Watney's best bud as well. You could imagine those two kind of characters in how they're displayed on the film being friends. Kate Mara, meh. Sebastian Stan, Jesus Christ, beige. I mean, like, the man had nothing to do. So I think some of it was like, well, we need to have a crew this big because there needs to be a crew of this size that would be realistic.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, shit, we've got, in a film, it's a bit like,
so I don't know how realistic this is, right?
Very.
Sorry, not realistic. I had read that it's reasonably realistic, scientifically speaking, and all the rest of it. I don't know how sort of feasible it is that this is the path they've gone down, but it does maybe serve as like a bit of a metaphor for there's one guy up there, but there is a whole crew. Yeah. There's a whole sort of effort that goes into this. A bit in the way that we talked about The Thing. We had a bit of a disagreement on the sort of the size of the cast on The Thing, and my point with that was, well, you're not really supposed to get invested in them as characters. They're just like representations of particular moments or feelings or whatever in a given situation. Maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. Again, with Ridley Scott, I feel like he doesn't really go in for that sort of thing. He's much more direct and on the nose than that. So maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess once they escaped, right, and we'll be talking about plot, once they escaped from Mars, that we essentially ignore them for quite a large portion of the movie until they become relevant and involved in the rescue mission. So it would be weird if they just spent a load of time like looking at their reactions and how they're dealing with the loss of Mark and all of that. It would have completely derailed the movie. So you can kind of see why they
interesting.
do it. I imagine I can't remember actually.
Talk about that in plot because I don't entirely disagree with it.
Okay, we like disagreement. Do you want to do some recasting, Carl?
Yeah, and I haven't got loads. For the same reason, I didn't make a load of notes on the cast in the first place. So Damon, I've got two names. One's a bit tongue in cheek.
Is it Tom Hanks?
No,
because then it could really be cast away on Mars.
yeah. If you want a serious botanist. And I mean...
This sounds like a crap advert. If you want a serious botanist...
I mean, if you want someone that is a bit more straight-laced... Because I didn't like the banter element of his character at all.
Oh, see that? Okay, cool.
Again, we'll come on to that. But if you want to lean into the sort of... Yeah, this guy is going to be quite a straight-laced thing and he needs to be competent and he's going to be difficult. I think a really good actor for that would be Michael Shannon.
I mean, that would be a very different... Yeah.
Well...
He's very straight.
It would be in some ways because you'd lose the banter side of it. But the rest of it, I don't see that it would be that different. My tongue-in-cheek one is if you want to go full Hollywood, full Ridley Scott, we need
Russell Crowe.
someone to... we need someone to be charismatic enough to do all that banter side of it, and we need this hero returning as triumphant. We really care about getting Tom Cruise, baby. Tom Cruise.
That'd be awful.
You imagine? It wouldn't be awful. I mean, again, this is not an entirely serious film.
No.
You get Tom Cruise land. Oh, I'm telling you.
I don't know. Matt Damon as being
Hollywood gold,
a botanist is stretch enough. I mean, Tom Cruise doesn't scream botany,
Now,
does he?
To be fair to Tom Cruise, if you Google, can Tom Cruise really? And
Go
then
on.
all the things that pop up.
Sure. I mean,
He's
that's true.
probably got botany in there.
Yeah,
mate.
he's probably grown a crop of potatoes in his back garden
He
just
probably
to prove that
has.
he could.
Is it true you've done? Oh yeah, I did this for a laugh on
Yeah, he's just like, oh yeah.
Was that for a role? Nah.
Nah.
I'm just that good. He's probably got that in the locker, mate.
Yeah. I'd like
You
to
got
think
anyone-
I think I like to think I'd have a lot of hobbies if I was a multi-millionaire and had a lot of spare time. But hey,
Yeah.
well, whatever.
Exactly.
So the only one I want to mention, so Captain Lewis we talked about with Jessica Chastain. So Kate Blanchett was originally cast for that, or was in for the role.
Not bad, yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Don't
right.
mind it.
I think Jessica Chastain is better though for that. I think I don't know. Kate Blanchett doesn't scream astronaut to me, but I don't know. Charlize Theron as potentially for a Captain Lewis.
That'd be good.
Good
Yeah,
work.
I like that.
And then the only one I could think of, because I struggled with any of the major characters. But instead of Michael Pena, if you wanted to go down a slightly different route, Anthony Mackie.
Oh yeah, Anthony Mackie's good.
He could do a similar sort of, he's essentially a pilot, right? The Pena, like he's a talented pilot with a bit of I don't know, banter and stuff, as you keep saying.
He's really good, Anthony Mackie. I like him.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it.
Well, so I've got one for Daniels,
Okay.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah. It's in his ballpark, isn't it?
Because
In
he needs that
wheelhouse.
sort of authoritative, also a bit of snark, also a bit of he really does care, the American thing. Yeah, bring him home, bring our boys home.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be as good.
No.
But he could definitely
with
do it. Yeah.
And then, unironically, for Weeg, Emily Blunt.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to production as Carl cracks open the Bon Motti, is that word?
Bomonti. I'm really pleased you brought this, actually, because fond memories. Drank a lot of this in Turkey.
Excellent. I'll tell you what I drank in Turkey. Perhaps the most disgusting thing in my life. I don't know if this was a thing
piss? Was
when
it
you were
piss?
there. No. So in a fridge they had like bottled water that you could grab, which was nice touch if incredibly environmentally unfriendly.
Yeah.
But then they also had this what I assumed was like a milkshake or something. It was like in a little like yogurt potty thing with a foil lid on top.
Yeah.
And I saw like loads of kids were drinking them, had straws in them and stuff were going. And I was like, give it a go. And how bad can it be? So sort of just took the lid off it, took a sip. Now, you know the watery bit in feta cheese?
Yes.
That's what it tasted like. It was like salty milk.
Yeah. What's that called when there's a name for it, isn't there?
What?
Yeah.
Vomiting?
No, it's when they sort of scrape that off the top or whatever.
Oh, no, not curd, not
No, it's not curd.
the whey? No, not the.
It could. Is it whey? Maybe. Could be whey.
Anyway, what the hell? And it was funny because like I was there. We were there like a day before my brother and his family arrived, and then when they arrived, I was like, "Oh,
Stay away from
just so you know, just stay away from it." So of course, what does he do? He goes, "It can't be that bad." He grabs it and he just his face as he comes up to drink it, and just his face is like, "Oh my god!"
That is the spirit, though.
It's actually worse than you described. It's awful.
I think it is. Yeah, whey. I think it's whey. Yeah.
Oh, I just don't understand it. Like, is it because it's hot, so you sweat a lot, so you need to replace your salt with some sort of salty milk thing? I don't know. I do not get it. I didn't understand it. I don't know why anyone was drinking it. Stop. Anyway,
Fair enough.
why the hell did we get onto that? Oh, the beer.
Yeah.
That was it. Anyway, we're going to talk about production now, apparently. So this was directed by Ridley Scott. Now, you mentioned something about Ridders, didn't you? That he's not an entirely serious filmmaker. What's your deal with Ridders?
I don't. You're careful not to misconstrue that, because he is a very serious filmmaker in that he is very sort of single-minded. He has a really clear vision for what he wants to do, and it is what he wants to do. There are always anecdotes whenever he's making a film that come out, and somebody will point out to, well, that shouldn't be that. Yeah, but it's not what I want to do. I want it this way, so it's going to be this way, Very different to some other directors. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, because you do then get a really clear, very, not muddled, right? Because it's a very, well, I want it to be this, and it is this. What's interesting about him is he doesn't always have all the pieces in place before filming starts. So, Gladiator, for instance, they had quite a lot that wasn't written yet when they started filming that. And actually, Russell Crowe did manage to bend Ridley Scott's ear a little bit, probably because Ridley was like, well, I don't care. So what do you think for this? Yeah, let's do this. I don't know. So it is kind of interesting that doesn't necessarily mean he has everything planned out and all the rest of it. But I think he is very direct, very on the nose. And I think, you can get some great results out of that. I think sometimes you get, well, that's just a bit silly. Napoleon's coming for a bit of criticism. Have you seen it?
No. Didn't appeal to me, to be honest.
Yeah, and apparently...
Even with a Joaquin in it.
Well, yeah, apparently it's a bit of a dog, really. And,
You look through his filmography...
There's a lot of
very just middle of the road mediocre stuff. Like not even necessarily bad. Just fine.
Yeah, he did. Have you seen A Good Year?
Yes.
No, I have a soft spot for that film. I don't know what it is about it.
That was during his Crow phase, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's plenty that you could say, well, that's shit. But I sort of enjoyed it. But it is a shit film. Let's get that straight.
Have you seen The Counselor?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's pretty hateful.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's not sort of. He's not my favourite director. But then I love Gladiator. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, as I was kind of preparing for a potential top 3 of Ridley Scott, and beyond Gladiator, like, I know what the ones you should say, right? So you should say Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade
you should say Alien. But actually, like, they're good. I like them, but they don't match up to Gladiator. Gladiator is like a 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 film.
Oh, it's great.
And Alien, I know it's much loved and stuff, and it's good. It's just not right up there for me. Mm-hmm. And same with Blade Runner. Actually, I prefer the sequel. One of the very rare examples of where a sequel I found more enjoyable and not directed by Ridley Scott.
Have you seen Body of Lies? That was okay.
A long time ago, yeah, and it didn't really leave an impression. Like, the one that I do remember is Matchstick Men.
Not seen that.
But that's not a big hit of his. That's got Sam Rockwell in, and
good actor.
Good actor.
American Gangster, you know that?
So, yeah, seen it, liked it. Actually, one of his better ones, to be fair. But it's like Kingdom of Heaven. I was going to rewatch that as preparation for this because I thought we might go down the Ridley Scott route. Because I remember watching that in the cinema, and I remember it coming fairly close to, like, from the Lord of the Rings films. And there's a lot of stuff in there in terms of, like, the fight scenes and, like, sieges and things like that. I was just like, I've seen this, and I've seen it done better. And I've seen it done with pointy ears and orcs and dwarfs.
Yeah.
Come on, what are you giving me? And has Orlando Bloom in it. And,
I'm not a fan of all that.
No. But apparently, like, there's a director's cut out there, and it's actually one of the few, I think we've talked about this on here before, that there is a director's cut that actually makes it a much better movie. And he loves a director's cut, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I do like, I'm going to shout out Black Hawk Down, I think.
I completely missed that off my...
That is a pretty...
That's a long time since I've seen that, though.
Yeah, that's a pretty good...
Is that Josh Hartnett?
Yeah, Josh Hartnett. I mean,
it's quite an ensemble cast. Josh Hartnett.
Quite an ensemble cast, actually. I think that's quite a good action film for that conflict. But that's those conflicts of that sort of era, I should say. But yeah, I sort of know what you mean. He has got. I'm just looking down it now. He's actually got more big name films on here than I realised.
A lot of big name films, but I don't think they're just not right up there. You know what I mean? For me. I know a lot of people will like it, but for me, it's not. They're not right there.
I am with you on that.
Right, let's talk about things relating to production then. So, I'm going to start things off with design. Very broad term for things, but just how the stuff looked, like the sets and the ships and costumes and stuff like that. First thing, the spacesuits. Awesome. I want one. I would wear that around the house. They look awesome, like the orangey bits on and stuff. I genuinely think they just look great. They're kind of in the great balance of like, oh, well, this is obviously set a bit in the future, but they look like, and similar to like Ad Astra, I guess, when we were talking about that, like you could definitely go like, well, yeah, that's like realistic, nearish future thing. You could imagine people wearing those, astronauts wearing those, and they look functional and also a bit cool.
All right, let me give you my negative note on the aesthetics.
Oh, aesthetics, that's a much better description. Go on.
I do not love at all the opening disaster scene.
Oh, you don't?
No. I think it just looks pretty cheap because obviously it's all in darkness and whatever, and
with the storm and
it looks small to me. It looks like not that they're cutting corners because I'm sure they had the budget. I didn't like it at all. It didn't work. That is my only negative note on how this looks because Mars looks brilliant in the daylight. Like you said, the suits really cool. They absolutely nail that thing of like, yeah, it's definitely not set in the present.
Yeah,
but it's it's still what we recognise and as
I think unofficially it's like 2030s, 2035 around.
Yeah, because they never actually nail it down.
No,
do they? Yeah.
I like that.
I like that.
Whenever
too.
they say that, like we were talking about Joker, they never actually say when it's set, right? But they just it's
because it's
you
not
get the feeling.
really an important detail. Yeah, they've
because
got the feeling
when
across.
in 10 years' time,
exactly, you're going to date it to
it'd be crap. You just don't need to. It would still seem like just as much just in the near-term future in 10 years' time, right? So I thought the ships...
It looks great.
The ships as well. So, like, the Hermes design, again, like, it looks interesting. It looks cool. It looks like, oh, yeah, that's probably what it would look like in doing all that. The things I like with the interiors of the ship as well, even down to, like, the lights that surround in the door, like red lights and green lights, just how that looked. Reference point whenever you talk space movies is 2001, right? And how that aesthetic looks, where it's very white and cold and things like that. Whereas in the Hermes, yes, it is white, but there's interesting notes, and in the Hab, where they've got those different airlocks and different areas of the building where it looks very much like this is a lived-in space. It's a functional thing, but there's things there that look like it's been lived in. I thought the launches from Mars both looked great, actually. The initial escape in the first couple of minutes with when it actually took off, and Michael Pena was doing his cowboy shit.
There's more cowboy shit later.
Getting all that ready and then taking off when they left him. I thought it looked really, really good.
In that alternative universe where we get popular, by the way, cowboy shit has got to go on a t-shirt because I've written that down for something later.
Add it to the list of merch to come. Yeah. And then last thing on sort of the aesthetics and design of the ships and things, where just the way that they design how they move through them. With the bars and stuff in the gravity, which is obviously done with wires and things like that. But I thought it looked great, and then that drop down, where they go through and then they drop backwards down like this ladder into like the simulated gravity with the rotating thing. I just thought it was very cool.
Going back to
transition.
Ridley Scott, I think he's directed something like 80-something movies. He's been producer on something like 450 things, whatever. Right. Now, whatever you think about his directing, we're talking about production. And how,
like with Scott Free, right? That's like his production house, right?
Is that what it's called? Yeah. I mean, the guy can produce. He can put something on screen and it looks good. Whatever the rest of it, you think of the rest of it, he has really got an eye for that sort of stuff. And I agree. I think, bar my gripe with the opening scene, it's a fantastic looking film. It really is.
Do you know how old Ridley Scott is now?
He's in his 80s. I only know that because 87. Your brother remarked upon
87.
How he's still going, basically.
It's another Clint, isn't he? Like, it's just...
And I tell you what, when you see him in interviews...
He doesn't look that old at all.
Not at all. If you said he was in his 60s, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
late 60s going into his 70s. Yeah, definitely fine.
Easy.
Yeah. What's his secret? Hard bloody work,
Loads
apparently.
of money. I bet that helps.
So talking about the sort of cinematography side of things and looking great, what did you make of the sort of almost like the use of GoPros and like the style having like the CCTV that's kind of it's like recording him and all of that sort of thing.
I've got an Ad Astra comparison here.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean with like the diary format versus like the
so we know
psych reports?
We know when we said when we both agreed Ad Astra they needed to lose the voiceover. It was ridiculous
because it was redundant because
stupid. Yeah, and obviously there were reasons for that. We know it was added afterwards. Yada yada yada. So there's a parallel here with the diary entries and the psych reports, like you just said. And I really liked the psych reports in Ad Astra. I thought they were a smart plot device, right?
if you'd lost the voiceover.
If you lost the voiceover, yeah, the psych reports were good. I don't like the diary entries here as much. And I think the reason for that is because you've got all this other team who at some points are literally explaining what he's doing. Just do that. I don't need the diary entries. And the reason for that is twofold, because I don't like most of the levity in this film. I don't buy Damon doing that banter, Mars will come to fear my botany. I'm going to science the shit out of this. It's like, give me a break, you fucking square. Jesus, right? I don't buy it all. It's interesting you said that the book is based on the book. It's quite similar. The book's quite funny.
It is.
Because I would have said this movie is so nearly a great movie for me, but make it more serious. Lose a lot of that. Because there's too much of it, so it doesn't land for me. We'll talk about that a bit more. So yeah, the diary entries. I could have done without a lot of that. Now, to contrast that, and you might be about to ruin this for me because maybe I wasn't paying attention. When he moved the rover, did he say why he was doing that?
When he moved the rover, like when they initially found out that he was alive, and so they noticed.
So we see him like, I'm going to have a look at, now I'm just going to move that rover. We see him do that. To my memory, I don't think he explains why. Which is actually a bit of
I think we just see him doing it.
We see him do it. Yeah, we see him do it. But it's actually a bit of contrast.
He was transporting things.
Most of what else he was doing, because he explains everything he's doing in these diary reports. Now, I loved that because then that's how they spot he's still alive, right? Looking at, and I think that's great because it's like they are showing us, but they're not telling us. They allow us to figure it out ourselves. And then, of course, they'll resolve and they'll tell us by virtue of the ground team, all the rest of it. Great, love that. I wanted more of that. I wanted less of Damon sitting to camera and telling us what he was going to do or why he was doing it. I wanted to watch him and I wanted to figure out why he was doing it. And if we needed some explanation, I wanted it to come from the ground team.
Yeah, interesting. I think a lot of it comes from the source, source book, right? And I think it works really well. I think there are aspects that I'll come onto, and there's one of them is the sort of suggested changes that I'm gonna make as to things that I think they could have done differently that became a little bit okay. But I thought the diary entries is quite a smart way because he didn't always it wasn't a constant commentary, right? There was an initial explanation. And a lot of that, I think, is to get across that there's like sound science behind what they're doing. So they want to explain it and go into it. Then they sort of show it, and then you've got like almost like the GoPro vision or the CCTV, and you see him do it. You've got a bit of time lapse bit showing bits, and then you got explanation around it. So I quite liked it as a device, and I think if you'd had a whole movie where that's all it was. So you think we mentioned Castaway.
Yeah.
If it was literally, we didn't have the crew, we didn't have the whole people at NASA, I think that would have got really old. But I think because it was mixed up in actually, you don't spend as much time on Mars as maybe you think you do, I think. Because there's a lot of time that is spent at NASA and in various things, and then on the Hermes as well. So I think that is what saves it. I agree. I think if we were doing it the whole time, it would have got a bit, do something else. But I think it broke it up enough for me.
Mm-hmm. There's an interesting point there about, okay, so they may be doing those to get across that there is some real science in this. Who cares? Like when you're making a film, who cares? Like, what's the thought behind going? We need to tell it. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong here. I'm just saying that's something that directors wrestle with and they make a choice over. Right? Is how much are we going to explain? Oh no, not even that. How much are we going to be true?
Yeah,
is the first thing, and then how much are we going to bring our audience along with us? And why do you do that? I don't. Like I say, there's no right answer. But,
yeah. I mean, I think when it comes to science fiction in particular, like everything that you do has to have some grounding. I think in reality, because otherwise it becomes fantasy, right? And all of that. So even with anything where they take it beyond anything that we can currently do, you kind of go like, oh yeah, okay, I can see that in the future that maybe that'll be doing that. And I know again going back to the book, but it's like that way. The author is very much like, yeah, I wanted it to be right. His hobby is basically to do all of that shit. His parents were like engineers and physicists and stuff, so he's obviously got that background. And I don't know. I think it gives that authenticity to the movie because they've got the sound. I mean, even if it was all bollocks, it comes across very authentically and
well, I don't think it is.
Well.
I think it does get plaudits for being.
I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said it was the most accurate film he's ever seen in regards to astrophysics and how Mars would be inhabited.
It's just interesting. I find it an interesting topic. I know sometimes directors go the other way, right? They go, well, I'm going to be inaccurate on purpose because this is what everybody thinks, so I'm going to play to that. So there's a bit in Dunkirk where he uses a Messerschmitt plane with a painted nose cone. Didn't happen until 3 years later or whatever. But the point is, when everybody thinks of the ME-109, they think of the yellow. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to use. There's another one actually in the Bond film Die Another Day when he's in Cuba. These I must have owned and watched with the commentary, right? Because the director's saying, at this point, we put this music up. It's not actually Cuban music, but it's what everybody thinks Cuban music sounds like. So that's what we use. So
people go, oh yeah, that's Cuban music.
Exactly. Yeah. Because, sometimes you go, well, if I use the authentic stuff, I potentially raise more questions than I want to at this stage. I find it interesting. Likewise, what's the... Master and Commander.
Oh, Jesus, who directed The Far Side of the World? I'll have the full title, please.
Well, you need the full title because it's a series of books called Master and Commander, and the one they did in that film is Far Side of the World.
Well, again, though, do you need it if all you're doing is one movie?
No, they plan to do more, but it never got off the ground, which is shit. It absolutely was not shit. If you think that's shit, we're fucking making
honestly,
this podcast.
I've not even seen it. Not even watched it.
I think it was scheduling. Oh no, it was so expensive to make.
It did poorly, right? It did commercially. That was its issue.
It made money, but I think not enough for them to go, oh, let's make another one. Who's the director of that one? I can't remember. Anyway, there's loads of accuracy in that. Really meticulous detail, and most of it they don't even reference because they just go, we want it to be there. But we're not going to slap you around the face with it. But if anyone's looking, they're going to get it. And so I think it's an interesting thing. And there's no right answer because, different, more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah. But, doing a bit of research, and getting back to how Mars looks, I was expecting more of it to have been filmed on like a location somewhere, not Mars, but somewhere. Yeah. They'd like somewhere that looks
we like
a bit Martian. Yeah. But not so much. I think a lot of it was, with the exception of a few interior shots and close-up shots, it was and most of them were shot outside. It was like within a studio thing. Not a lot of it was shot on a location, although there was some in Jordan.
You can't really tell.
No, that's what I mean. So we've given some shit, right, in terms of when you're using the practical effects and stuff, you can feel it feels palpable, it feels like it's there. Whereas they've used a fuck ton of green screen really well with this, and even like the helmets, right? They didn't exist.
Oh, really?
They're all because it fucks up with the filming. So it's all CGI'd on. I don't know how they do that, but yeah, all of the EVA suit helmet visors, that was all done digitally.
Ridders wouldn't stand for anything less, would he? Yeah, that looks shit with cigar in mouth. That looks shit, mate. Fix it.
But yeah, I mean, not once, like, you've seen some shit CGI where you're just like, well, that doesn't look real.
Yeah.
But this, you're just like, no, I can believe they were on Mars. Definitely. I've never been to Mars, but you know what I mean. I've never been to Mars. There you go.
Yeah.
Admission.
Newsflash. No, yes, it did look very good. Let's talk about the dialogue.
All right.
I thought this was one of the weaker points of the film. And I don't just mean, I'm not just talking about the whole decision to have all the levity all the time and Matt Damon's banter. I mean, some of it was just genuinely clunky, right? We get Damon with his first message back going, surprise! Right? And then he goes, guessing a surprise to most of the world as well. All right, okay. And then we get, luckily, I'm the botanist. It's like, we didn't need you to tell us that in a piece of camera, did we? We could have found another way to, but it's just...
Yeah, that's fair point.
There's a bit where Sanders, I keep forgetting his name. I just see Jeff Daniels.
Think of the Colonel.
It's amazing. Yeah, the Colonel. There's a bit where he's saying, I'm laughing because it's so silly. He's delivering that first press conference. And, oh no, where have I written it? I can't see where I've written it. He says something like, Mark Watney was killed, but everybody else is coming home, but Mark Watney is dead. So is he? Yeah, yeah. That's what that means. When someone's killed, that means they're dead. And I just
actually with that sort of thing though, and I kind of agree with the overstating the botany thing. Like they could have done that in a different way. That's a bit less obvious.
Quite a lot of that though.
But even with that one, that is the kind of thing that they would be in any press release. Like you need to be leave no debate here that he's dead and stuff. So we're going to say it twice in two different ways.
Well,
there you go. I can actually see that happening.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I find some of the dialogue to be good in a way, because you imagine this is a guy, right? He is a botanist, an engineer. Like, he's going to be of a certain disposition where even with the levity and a sense of humour, it's going to be coming from a bit of a geeky, awkward place, right? So I think some of the lines that you say, I think it kind of suits a person who's not a natural comedian, but has that levity and sense of humour potentially as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's a take on it that would reconcile the sort of the issues I have with it. You could sidestep them like that. I mean, and maybe this is just my distaste for Damon colouring things. I just don't believe him in those banter moments at all. And I do think, from a production point of view, which is where I'll give him a bit of a pass, I think there's too many of them. So I don't think they land. Because I think if you have him struggling a lot more throughout the film, or silent a lot more throughout the film...
that's a good counterpoint to a couple of films, like Ad Astra, to one where it's a very still, silent performance and stuff, whereas this is not.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you have those moments of levity, suddenly they hit a lot more. And I just don't think...
See, mine's like the other way around, right? So, and we'll come to this in plot, but I'm going to cover it now. I quite like the mixture, but to me, it's actually more of a levity, more of a almost the comedy than it is the drama. There's almost like the interspersed drama parts to it, with a general background of light humor and stuff, and that's almost like the focus. It's almost like flipping it round a little bit. Do you know about the controversy with the Golden Globes with this movie? So,
did it win like comedy or something?
It won best comedy or musical, and won and best actor for a comedy or musical, which led to a rule change which states that dramas with comedic overtones should be an overtone's not an undertone. Is that right? Overtone? Does that mean there's more?
I think it's an overtone in this one.
Well, I think it's an overtone in it, right? I guess it's
overbearing. That's what it is.
They have to be entered as dramas, not comedies now.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's some more award bullshit as well. But hey ho. But yeah, I think that it is actually, that is kind of where it's intentionally pitched, and it is very much on brand with the book in terms of it's
and that's interesting.
It's more comedy than.
And I'm just going to blame a different person now because I'll blame the author rather than Ridley Scott, because this was central to why it really just didn't vibe with me at all. So I really like competency porn, right?
Yeah.
So when he's doing all the bits, fantastic, love it. But then nothing will take away from it more when he then fucking turns around to me with a lovely little joke, as he does, and tells me what he's doing. So yeah, I can see that. And do you know what? If I can't see it, I'd really like to figure out why and what you were doing on my own. Right. Have you seen All Is Lost? I think you have.
Yes.
Robert Redford.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's basically a silent movie, right?
Basically silent, but competency porn through and through. Loved it. And then the thing that really annoyed me about that movie and killed it for me was the fact that they told me at the start, right, what it was all about, and then hammered it home again at the end. It's like, let me bloody decide, will you? Yeah. And I get loads of vibes of that, of this. It's like, I want to really enjoy watching you figuring stuff out. I don't need you wisecracking about it and making jokes and whatever. It just really, it kept taking me out. Whether that's Damon, and I don't buy his bantering, whether that is the dialogue itself and the decisions that maybe, and like we say, that's probably not movie makers, it's probably more the source material. But that was my sort of main problem with it, really.
Yeah, I think it's almost like how your expectations for it were maybe of a more serious thing to start with, so then the levity is always like juxtaposing it in a bad way.
I'll say this, I mean, I definitely want it to be more serious, showing my hand for the changes. I don't know what I expected going in. I just know, I mean, this time, because I'd already seen it, like, I know that I want it to be more serious. I know that it isn't, and I know it's going to annoy me. And like I said, it gave me some clarity on that. Yes, that's it. Yeah. The first time, I don't really know what I was expecting. It was just a bit like, no, that was weird. No, didn't get that. Didn't land. No. Do you
want to do a game?
I would love to do a game.
All right. So I warned you at the start. This is could be shit. We'll see. This is going to very much depend on you, Carl. It's all kind of on you. There's not a lot of me involved in this. I'm basically just going to set you going and then let your imagination and your creativity run wild, okay?
Okay.
All right, so this movie is called The Movie Mars Barometer. Yeah?
Yep.
So get the connection.
I'm with you, yeah.
Thanks, good stuff. So
yeah, right. Why is... Yeah. So, Galaxy...
Yes.
Yeah. Chocolate. We're talking chocolate.
Yes.
We've got Galaxy.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously. We know what Galaxy is. Milky Way.
Yes.
No Galaxy. Mars.
There's no universe part.
We know what Mars is. Yeah. The fuck's Twix?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's all about.
What's Snickers?
Snickers is another one. Because even Opal Fruits, when they rebranded that, right, and they go, it's Starburst. Yeah, that's fine. Starburst. Yeah. Twix.
You think they should be on a theme?
Yeah.
They'd be consistent with your theme, goddammit. Yeah. Right, anyway, so the game.
I mean, the Snickers is basically a Mars bar with peanuts. Come on.
Well, there you go. So, you know what a Mars bar is?
Yep.
You know what Snickers is?
Yep.
You know what a galaxy is?
Yep.
Okay, good. Right, and there's 3 movies set on Mars. Okay?
Yep.
So we've got Total Recall.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Ad Astra. And we've got The Martian.
Right.
You familiar with all those 3 films?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to do, and what I did, is I asked artificial intelligence to match a movie set on Mars with a chocolate bar manufactured by Mars, and for them to justify why you would pair those 2 things together. So what I want you to do is get into the mind of AI, and I want you to match the Snickers, the Galaxy, the Mars bar to the 3 movies. So Ad Astra,
Get
The Martian.
into the mind of AI, so be slightly less shit at everything that humans can already do. But do it faster.
So this is down to you.
Faster.
If you get this right, I'm going to be a bit worried. And if you get some of the justification right, I'll be very worried.
Right. I think I've got one straight out the back. Here's what I'm thinking. I don't know about AI because it's bollocks, right? But Paul Verhoeven directed Total Recall, right? And it's fucking nuts. So we've got to go with Snickers there.
I like it.
Who's gonna put what's that? Caramel, nugget, and chocolate. Well, I suppose, yeah. And I tell you what, it's really good. Love a Snickers.
Love a Snickers.
Really like Total Recall. It's loads of fun.
I'll tell you what, Carl, you're 1 for 1. Good match. Not bad on the description as well, right?
Right, okay, good stuff.
So I'll read what it said, and this might give you a hint of the direction here. So, with its intense action and twists, the movie is as satisfying and packed with surprises as a Snickers bar.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. I think
that's what I do, right? So now
you've got 50-50 chance.
Yeah, we've got 50-50 now, so I can dispense with all the fucking reasoning. Just pick one. All right, so what have we got left? We've got the Martian.
We do.
He's on his own. That could be Galaxy. Single ingredient chocolate bar in that regard. And what was the other one? Ad Astra. Galaxy. Now Galaxy sort of, there's a lot of wide shots Galaxy, right? Okay, that's interesting. We're going to the far reaches of the Galaxy. And what was the other one?
Mars bar.
Surely to God, the Martian is the Mars bar, and we're going to the far reaches of outer space for Galaxy.
I mean, you've got it right.
Yeah.
The justification isn't the same, but it's a perfect match for the movie's title and protagonist's struggle to survive on Mars. Why? It doesn't explain why. Why is that the perfect Mars bar? Because it says Mars in it and it's Martian. I think that's all they're going for. It's like bit of a weak justification, but which means you're left with.
Oh, Ad Astra and Galaxy, of course.
Go on. What would your?
Well, I was thinking, he's going to the far reaches of outer space to find where this Galaxy, very thing. Go on.
Interesting. So the smooth and contemplative nature of the movie pairs well with the creamy texture of a Galaxy bar.
Yeah, that's what I do whenever I pop a bit of Galaxy bar. Let me just sit back and contemplate a while.
Yeah. But you got 3 for 3, Carl.
Yeah, so it's good to that. Yeah, I'll take that.
Well done. You've got into the mind of AI very well. Well done.
It's because it's shit. Okay, right. I don't think I've got anything more in production other than one thing, which I think I know how you're going to explain it, and you're going to say, yes, but it fits the fucking pop music in this.
Yeah. So
The disco
obviously
music.
the disco thing is a big thing. It may be linked to one of my changes, the whole disco music and over-egging the pudding. Is that the thing? Whereas I think as a one joke or maybe a 2 joke thing, good. Overdo it a little bit.
Yeah, it's essentially the entire soundtrack.
Yeah, go over it a little bit. And I think there's a couple of the score I didn't really notice, to be fair. It's got obviously good. It's got nominations for it. The music, it's fine. There's a couple of uses of pop music in there, and obviously in the background. But then just when he's actually doing things like playing like ABBA and things like that, and I wasn't a massive.
I didn't notice the score either, and I wonder if that's because the pop music just diverts your attention all the time. I thought it was a massive shame because one of the best things about Gladiator as an experience is the score. It's an amazing score in that. And when you're talking about trying to make something land, and okay, I know this isn't the most serious film in the world, but there's still he's isolated and there's things at stake and there's a sort of a political element to it and all the rest of it. To make some of that gravity land, I think you need the score to do some work there. And yeah, it was absent because it was being overridden by this stupid music.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the plot. So obviously, what we've done here is talked all over the plot in production, as is our want. But for me, and you've kind of already called out this in a slightly negative way, but the bit that stood out to me was within 2 minutes of the film starting, they go straight into the drama and the action with the storm and then the decision to leave him and all of that side of things, which I thought it's quite brave to do that straight away. There's no build up. They don't spend very much time sort of explaining exactly who everyone is and stuff. They do a little bit of it. They just and then it's suddenly like, everything's interrupted.
Did they call that out in a negative way?
No, you said it looked bad.
Oh, just the effects. Yeah. Okay.
But that scene in itself, I thought was really effective actually. And I was just like, oh crap, I'm in here. Which I guess actually is, if you lead with that, right, and you go, oh, well, this is a very dramatic, intense movie, isn't it? and then you come to a lot of it, which is has got the levity. I can imagine if that's maybe.
I mean, I should say,
the expectation.
It comes as no surprise to me. You like this film.
I like the mixture of gravity and levity.
You do like that levity, yeah.
But for me, I like the mixture of it, right? So the mix of gravity, not the movie Gravity, although a little bit of the movie Gravity, but and levity. I do like the mixture of it. So like, there's bits in this that I found genuinely funny, and as I was writing them, there's more funny bits than there is the tense bits.
Yeah,
and I think that is intentional. From them, it's more like the levity is interrupted by the tension and the drama rather than the other way around, which is what you usually see, right? You usually see it's a drama with a little bit of levity. This is like levity with a little bit of drama. But having said that, I guess the whole movie and the whole subject of A Man Stranded on Mars, it is in itself quite dramatic.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned both of these points already, but
why stop now?
Well, exactly. I did say I was going to refer to these back. my problem with the
preempted your repetition.
With the levity is twofold, because I don't believe Damon in those moments, and again, I don't want to trash Damon in this movie. I think he's.
No, you've done that in Departed already.
Exactly, he was terrible for that film. He's not necessarily terrible for this film, and he has some really good moments in it. I don't believe some of his banter, and then, like you've just said. It's like the gravity interrupting the levity, and it's not necessarily a problem that you go, well, that's just what sort of film it is. The way I took it, or the way it landed with me, is then I didn't find the funny bits funny.
Funny, yeah.
Because, for God's sake,
fair enough. If it didn't land,
that's the thing.
In that way, that's going to be difficult to overcome.
I will say as well, I've got a note down here, and I can't remember exactly which bit I'm referring to. So maybe you can help clear this up.
Interpret your own notes.
Yeah, exactly. A bit too much exposition at the start. So there must be somebody. Oh no, I think it is in the disaster scene. And you know what? I think it's what you said earlier, when they are trying to get across, hey, we're trying to do some science here. We're trying to stay faithful to science here. And they're going over the top explaining every little bit. Even Penya's dialogue, I forget, I didn't write down exactly what it is. A lot of it is like over-explained. It's like, we don't need that. We just need we don't need the actual scientific realism. We just need realism. We need the narrative of like, this is bad. We need to get off here, otherwise we'll die.
Was it tilting, that bit?
Yeah, I think it was all that bit.
Over the tilt. Mm-hmm.
And they were like, there was more than one person that, oh yeah, what you've just said, because X, Y, Z. It's like, oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, again, not very Scott, I would say.
No, I think a lot.
But like you say, it's a book. Didn't know that, so it makes sense.
And interestingly, the book was written in he did it serialized on a website. So he did like a chapter at a time. He was releasing a chapter at a time, writing a chapter at a time as he went.
That's brave.
Yeah, so he didn't really know exactly where it was going. He was kind of like do it as he went. But he's since written another couple of books. One of which I really liked. Again, set in space, very good. One less so, but still good.
I got to say, overall, I thought the plot was very good.
Yeah,
as an actual sort of plotted story.
You think from the story side of things, like man is stranded, rescue mission, which is essentially all it comes down to, right? Again,
yeah, but simple. The nice bits about moving through it and the telecrew or not, you've got that clash there. Yeah. You've then got the clash with the Chinese and the political things there. And,
what did you think of that? So I've seen some people just go like, seems a bit of a Chinese propaganda-y thing of where it's just like, oh, look at the Chinese being all very positive.
Well,
maybe it'll sell well in China.
Exactly that. And I've listened to a podcast this week that goes into that.
Yeah.
So films.
Do you want to reference them? So
Oh, it's that the rest is entertainment thing.
Oh, right, never mind.
Yeah. But films will go out of their way to make sure they can release in the Chinese market because it is
so huge,
massive. And if you do anything like paint them in a bad light or have a Chinese villain, you ain't getting the release in China. Right down to the fact that if you've got a map on your screen, it doesn't have I think it's called the 49th parallel or something which is where China lays claim to the seas around them. Right? They put that on there. Obviously, it's not internationally recognised. If you don't have that in your film, you're not getting in there. So you'll see some Hollywood films that will do that, even though it's a bit politically tetchy, because they want to get released in China. So 100% it'll be that they want to go for the Chinese market.
Yeah, it didn't. To be honest, when I was watching it and rewatching it, it didn't stand out to me as weird. It was like another nice little add-on. But then, on reflection, you're kind of like.
The thing I thought about is could have been anyone.
Yeah,
it was just another nation that had a rocket to lend them, sort of thing. Just
so happens it's the biggest market in the world.
Yeah, it's the biggest movie. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What do you think of the use of gaffer tape, Carl? Calling back to Gran Torino.
Another Ad Astra.
Pick up to Gran Torino as well, right?
Yes, Gran Torino as well.
And it had Astra of taping up the dead man's face.
More duct tape, Ad Astra again.
Yeah. But I think it calls more back to Clint, him saying it's the 2 things you need, 3 things you need.
Well, here's what I want to talk about, a comparison to Ad Astra, right? So the duct tape actually leads me on to the tarp.
Tarp, yeah.
One of my problems with Ad Astra was they'd build Jeopardy and then they'd sort of back themselves into a corner and then they'd end up with a very silly sort of way out or whatever, like Brad Pitt flying through a meteor shower with a bit
Captain
of
America
moment, all this sort of stuff. No, I didn't mind the tarp thing, and indeed
on the top of the escape,
the escape pod
thing.
Didn't mind that at all because the way they did it differently to Ad Astra is you have this sort of very flimsy thing, and that is the Jeopardy, and they build that into that. Oh my god, he's just going up with it. What Ad Astra did was we'll build Jeopardy, and then the solution will be this ridiculous thing.
Yeah, and they also explained it as well, which I know you're not a big fan of the over-explaining.
Well,
they did actually explain, guys, we're putting a top on this, but here's why it's not a completely ridiculous
idea. It's how you do it, and honestly, that was one of the better ones, right? Because that was the ground team explaining why that might work, and so I didn't mind that at all. I thought the execution of that was very good. That being said, I did not love, because this was very Ad Astra, flying through space with his fucking hole in his suit. Yeah. Way to go, Iron Man. More clunky dialogues. Oh, fuck off.
Getting back to some of the funny bits. So I'm just going to crack through some and you see if any of them cracked you a smile. What about the Happy Days and the Fonz pose? When he's taking the photo?
When's that?
He needed to, they said they wanted a photo of him from the thing, and he's obviously been watching Happy Days, so he's just
Well, I didn't laugh at the time, I'm laughing now.
When he's opening up the shit, and he just goes, oh, Johansson, Jesus.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep. So I've put the Hate of Disco. Initially, I thought it was actually quite good, because it was so, deadpan, it's just
very overdone by the end.
But yeah, as I say, I know this is Rich coming from me, a bit kettle black of overdoing the same joke over and over again. But it didn't take it to the point of you've repeated it so much it's become funny again. It actually was just okay, we get it.
They didn't do it enough times. That's the only problem.
Music. Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah. I quite like the blowing himself up and just smouldering and completely fucking himself.
Talking about being funny through repetition, Stuart Lee's routine about shill bottle. Drove past there the other day, saw it on the signs. I was like, shill bottle. Shit bottle? No? Nothing?
No.
Never mind.
Cool.
Sorry, what was your last point? I was completely ignoring you then.
Well, he blew himself up initially when he was trying to create water and he miscalculated and blew himself up and it was just smouldering.
Liked the visuals. Mm-hmm. Didn't like, again, the banter.
Talking.
Also, on that, what about because is it immediately after that when he talks about the ringing in his ear? I'm going to do this bit. And then they put an actual ring in there.
Yeah, that's a bit silly.
Oh, come on. I know what a ringing in the ear sounds like.
That's a good point. I didn't really notice that, but yeah, that's a bit silly. I quite liked as well when he gets you said, what did the crew say when you told them I was still alive? It's we haven't told them yet, and he's just what the hell?
Yeah.
But in silence, and then there's just this big, you can see him big ranting, and he's just I'm sure he didn't mean what he said.
Yeah.
I quite like that. I thought it was quite funny. And then the highlight for me was dipping the cooked potato in the crushed Vicodin and then going, I ran out of ketchup 7 days ago.
Yeah, that's quite good. Again, didn't laugh at the time, but it's quite good now. This is the thing, though. It's isolation.
Yeah.
They've overdone it. Those moments, in isolation, they're quite good. There's too many of them.
And then, like, to counter that with the tense and shocky bit. So the initial explosion where he blows himself up, I thought was really good because you were like, oh look, he's cracked this already. Bam! Not so much. And I like that where they did that. The loss of the potatoes, where obviously there's just a hole and it goes, which is unexpected again because it's just happens, and then they lose the potatoes. It's strangely moving, the loss of the potato plants as well, because it's just like and then the final rescue where he's obviously stripped everything out and they're actually firing up there and the tarps flapping and he goes. I thought that was definitely ramped up the tension, and I think Damien did a really good job with the emotion of that as well. And then it did have the Iron Man bit. Because I quite liked the fact, like initially we was like, oh, I can just do this, and they were like, no, you're not going to do that. That's silly. Like, you can't control that. I was like, oh, that's good. He's come up with an idea, and they've shot him down, and then they went and did it anyway. Trope watch, Carl.
Oh yeah,
we know like to be on the lookout for the tropes, and this is a good one. So, people in different countries watching the same thing on TV, like a broadcast, and it goes round each location, right? It's like, New York, England, China.
That's a good one.
And to be fair to them, this time they didn't have somewhere in the third world of poor people gathering around the only TV in the village doing it, which is very common to do. But it's amazing how often that comes up, particularly with around anything that's around space travel and watching all that sort of thing.
That's harking back to the moon landing, isn't it? Where everybody would have been doing exactly just that. But you're right. It's definitely a movie trope, that.
And the only other thing, we've already mentioned it, I think, but the self-surgery scene, I thought, very good, powerful, really felt the urgency of it, well acted, very real, liked it, good.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm just reading my notes now. I don't like the constant attempts at levity, like Glover falling over in his apartment. Yeah. It feels forced.
Although I did like the line afterwards, like when and the boss guy goes, do you know I'm your boss? Right?
Yeah.
It's like, you got anything else on the old plotty plot?
No.
Don't say no and then say something else. Don't be that person.
Well, okay. I'm not going to say something else. I'm just going to repeat something I've already said.
You have that at work, right? You go, have you got anything you want to add? No, not really. Apart from this and this and this. Fucking yes then, isn't it?
It's just verbal filler, isn't it, mate?
We don't need to. We've already gone an hour and 40 minutes. Come on.
Yeah, all right.
All right, let's move on to any changes. So a section where we each come up with our maximum of 3 changes as Carl fills his mouth with nuts. Carl, what do you think? What's your change?
Whose nuts are they?
They're my nuts. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they're very tasty.
They're pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah,
not bad.
A bit salty, but sweet as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird mix, but yeah, there we go. Anyway, so I'll lead off since Carl's got his mouth full of nuts and can't really speak. So, first change was, it annoyed me a little bit that they telegraphed the surprise of something going wrong, right? So they said, oh, well, assuming nothing goes wrong.
That was my other point that I was searching for at the end.
Yeah. And then something goes wrong. I was like, that would have been so much more effective had it come out of the blue after you'd lulled yourself into a false sense of security of how well it was all going. Like, it was smooth, and then shit. But then it just primed it. And I was just like, oh, why did you do that? Because the bits that we just talked about that were really effective, where he's making the water and you're like, oh, he's got his shit together here. Boom. And it just happens.
Well, I think they did that on purpose because for me, that is entirely in keeping with the tone of the movie. Because they are being a bit silly with it. So they've set that up and it's a punchline almost. It's a punchline.
Yeah. So you're right.
So I completely agree with you.
But that's what I mean. It's like, if you're going for it, this is a light-hearted movie with these real interruptions of the gravity. It's like, give me that properly, right? Don't diminish that. Have you got another one? One? No?
That wasn't one of my changes.
Okay. That was just a comment.
That was just the comment I was searching for at the end of the last section.
Okay.
Although my changes do sort of all fall along those same lines, right? I loved the moving of the lunar rover and the way that the drip in. Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
They're almost interpreting you're not
done without Damon audibly explaining it, as he does so much of the other stuff he's doing. Loved it, and I love competency porn. So I would have loved to have just sat there, watched him doing stuff, try to figure it out. They'd tell me later, or they'd drip in little bits to help me along. You know, the ground team, fantastic. I don't actually want any exposition from Damon. I want him to do what he's good at in this movie, which is some of the gravity, and when he's hurt, when he's struggling, and when he's being competent. And I think that would have, to make that shift, to make it sort of all like that lunar move and lean more on the ground team, more, would...
You want to go Apollo 13?
I've not seen that in so long.
That's very much like it's the ground team that's solving everything right, and they're communicating it to do it right.
Makes sense. I think that would have made, in general, the movie land a lot more for me, because you just remove then the bits that got in the way, which I think are very deliberate bits, and that's the tone we're going for.
Yeah.
I just don't like it,
No. Fair enough. The other bit I would change, I only have one more. This is the only other change that I'd called out, really. I've already kind of mentioned the disco overdoing it. So I guess that'd be my third one. But the second one is the reading out of the messages as they're writing them.
Another trope, by the way.
Got a bit tiresome. It's fine to do it once or twice as you're doing it, but they kind of kept on going on. It's like, could you not have done another way? I don't know, just it being read, or just put it on screen so we can read it.
Yeah.
It's fine. I can read. They're not very long messages. It would have been okay just to mix it up a little bit, so it's not just because the bit that was the worst was Michael Pena was just and this and then the captain's next to him.
Yeah.
And you're just I don't know.
Well, my second one is the music.
Okay.
Which I've said is, for fuck's sake, change the music. And it culminates in Love Train at the end, and you think, oh my God.
I can't remember that.
It can't get worse, can it? And then we go on to I Will Survive.
Really? I didn't
It's over the credits, so the first song in the credits is Love Train, or that's what plays us out as we cut to the credits.
Okay.
And you think, oh my God, talk about on the nose, and then we get I Will Survive. So yeah, I don't, like you said, maybe the joke was just overdone.
Yeah, exactly. So you could do it a couple of times, and you're just no, and a callback, and then that's
for me enough. that whole soundtrack as it ended up becoming stepped over the actual soundtrack, and I get it.
Yeah, it was interesting. We've talked about the use of popular music and how Scorsese does it incredibly.
He does do it very well. Yeah.
But it's a tricky thing to do, isn't it? But without it really sticking out.
You've given me an excellent chance to segue into another bit of chit chat I had.
Oh, good.
So Jamie sent a question in about
the use of the mailbag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mailbag episode, the use of music in a film. What's the best one you can think of? I think he'd gone with
Drive.
Was it Drive? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might have an answer.
Go on.
I think I might have the answer.
Oh, confidence. I like it. Go on.
Yeah.
You couldn't think of it 3 weeks ago.
No, I couldn't, but it popped across my social media feed today. I was like, oh my God, it's this!
And?
Scarface.
Okay.
Take It to the Limit. It's the montage bit where he's just taking over Frank's business, and they're going great guns. And it is so 80s. It's so punchy.
Take it to the limit.
Yeah. No one left to stand in your way. I don't know the words.
Yeah. I know the song you mean, though.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
That fits the scene.
It's amazing.
Okay, I might have to YouTube it and just to see. But
absolutely incredible. Absolutely. Anyway,
there you go.
We digress. Changes.
Any more changes?
Yeah. So last one, plot-wise. Now this is my third because I think the plot is one of the stronger elements of this movie. I quite enjoyed the plot. It was good. But just kind of speak to something we said about the more minor characters. I think you could focus more on Chastain and maybe some of the maybe some of the other minor characters too, but her in particular, and a sort of anguish to build up that jeopardy a bit, because I'd initially misremembered this a little bit. I thought the entire premise of the movie, obviously he's stranded, but then you've got this political sort of skirmish going on back home, whether or not they're going to bring him back. And that's what I thought everything was. But actually the first part is not that at all. It's, well, how are we going to tell the crew?
Yeah.
And that didn't really land. Because I don't think they did enough of, like, obviously it was her decision and how that's affected them all and yada, yada, yada. And I think if you change that up a bit, and again, this requires it to be a more serious film than it actually is, I think, you then make the later decision for their cowboy shit, as my mention of cowboy shit, when they completely go off piste and go, fuck it, we're going to go rescue him anyway.
Yeah.
You lay the groundwork for that then. So that would be a little shift, I guess, plot-wise. But really, that's a minor one compared to the first two.
Alrighty. Okay, this is why you're wrong. So this is our closing statement from each of us. I'll be honest, Carl, I'm not feeling confident in the old needle moving.
It's a tough gig, mate. I told you.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And I've done so well recently.
You have?
Yeah, I think I've done all right. But yeah, not sure it's going to happen. But anyway, I'll close things out from my perspective, at least, which is I pretty much summed it up. I've come to a very different angle from you in terms of the mixture of the gravity and levity, and I think what works for me is that it's a very light, enjoyable film with the background of that gravity, and then you've got the big tense bits that come in. I said I liked it at the start. When I first thought, I was just like, I might be going to the old, really like, because
Did wonder that.
I was tempted to go there. I think on rewatch there were too many things. I was just like, it's good. It's a good film. I like it, but it doesn't quite get up to the old, really like 9, 10 out of 10 kind of region for me. So yeah, I don't think I've got much that's going to really move your needle as such. I think we've consumed it in a couple of slightly different ways. I think Damon is very good in it. You've got a irrational hatred of Damon that you've got to battle.
Well, I think it's the opposite of irrational. I think I've explained it.
What I mean by irrational is I don't agree with it.
Yes.
Yeah, is it that? Go on, Carl. Over to you.
It's a bit of a shame, this, right? Because competency porn with a parallel story of political machinations is right up my alley.
And looks good.
Looks great. And I don't even...
Damon isn't even a big deal for you.
I mean, his character...
but not
this
there.
is why I said his character, right? Because I'm not convinced it's all his fault. There's some things I don't buy, but he's very good in the other aspects. So it should be there, but it didn't land for me because I did not like the mix of levity and gravity at all. I thought it worked against each other in a negative way. I thought the dialogue was a bit too clunky. And, I'd forgive that if they get other stuff right because it's a Hollywood film and you get that sometimes, whatever. But ultimately, it doesn't go deep enough, serious enough, or even angry enough, especially on the political side of it. Cold enough, even. Like, there's a bit where Jeff Daniels is saying it's 5 people's lives against one. We're not doing it. And Jeff Daniels, fantastic as he is, that as a sort of line doesn't hit home as it should have done.
Do you think he should have been more? He should have been more forceful and angry about that. He was quite calm and.
It's not necessarily that. It's like the film could do the heavy lifting before that. So when he says that, you go, "Oh shit, serious, this isn't it?" But the film's not serious, so that's just a line instead of an entire concept where we go, "Oh Christ, that's a big decision." The weight just isn't behind that decision. Now I'm going to segue again, and I know this isn't the section for doing it. You
bastard.
But I had another note about. Why I would make a terrible director through Gary Oldman. So I saw an interview with Gary Oldman.
Did you see him on holiday? Was this the...
No, I saw an interview with him, and he was saying he's only received a couple of notes from directors in his career.
Really?
Which is a bit of a humble brag, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't need notes. I'm so...
One of them he says Christopher Nolan, and he said it was fantastic.
In one of the
Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And they did a take, and he said Nolan just came up to him, and he just went, "Can we try it again? There's more at stake." Right, and I would make a terrible director because I would never give such a concise.
Yeah.
No,
you're not even telling him how to do it, right? You're just saying.
Which is why Gary Oldman said it was such a great note, because he's like, yeah, I understand the assignment. I'm the actor. He just gave me that really simple guideline. I could just super focus in it. I just thought, fantastic, a really great note, and I love the way Oldman interpreted it. That's what's missing in this film. So when Daniels delivers that, there isn't enough at stake because the film hasn't done the legwork for that line to land. And I get why you like it. I knew exactly why you like it when we were watching the thing. But yeah, ultimately, I'm just a bit cold to it, which is ultimately a shame.
Yeah. So I'm guessing I don't think there's been any needles moved. Is that fair?
I'm afraid not. I can't even come up to ambivalent because.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've earned it. To be fair, I've not got enough to move you. Yeah. But you've not moved me down. You know. I haven't moved up.
No, yeah, I didn't. Again, because I knew why you'd like it. I thought, well, there's no talking about this stupid oaf.
Yeah. just on the actors talking about acting and directors and stuff. I saw a Jonah Hill clip as well from The Wolf of Wall Street. So calling back to an earlier episode, and he was just saying how Scorsese had this was like one of the first scenes that he'd shot. And he was doing it, and it just kept on going on and on and on. It's like this very short scene on the phone and stuff. And he was like, it just kept on going, and he wasn't giving me any notes. It just kept on going and going, and then they just sort of stopped or whatever. And he called me over and said, "Hey kid, come over here." And he just sat down. He just started reading the paper for like half an hour. He just sat there and read, and then eventually I started to relax a bit, and we had a little chat. And then he was just like, "Should we do it again then?"
Yeah, nice.
And because I was all relaxed and stuff, I did it much better. And we did 2 minutes, 2 takes, and then we were gone. I was just like, "Fucking hell, this sort of nuance. I don't have this sort of nuance in
different.
Me.
There's levels to people skills, isn't there?
Oh yeah. Incredible. Okay, we move on to the data section, but I realised, Carl, we've not seen each other for a few weeks. What movies we've watched? So let's have a quick recap of what you have watched over the previous couple of weeks where we've been away.
Quite a few, actually. A lot of shit as well.
Right. I do want to be in your mind of how you decide some of these films, but
well, so as we've said, I sort of get on trends.
You do, yes.
So we've had some sort of like holiday type, travel type, wanderlust type things.
Have you been watching stuff while you're away, or do you?
No,
right. That's just.
We don't watch much TV when we're on holiday at all.
No opportunity for me. I just don't know when you would do it.
No, it's not. It's not a thing. So I watched After the Sunset, which was a film with
Mate, you talked about this on the pod already.
Have I?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We'll chuck that on because it was shit.
Because I made a thing about the Before Sunset and
you did.
Before, yeah.
So I may have also talked about Triangle of Sadness.
I can't remember.
No?
No, I don't think you mentioned that.
Okay. Now, Triangle of Sadness, one of these rare films that I would say is not a very good film, but I really quite liked. Really enjoyed it. Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
And some other people I don't know.
I feel like it's directed by someone that's fairly well known.
It got quite a good reception, I think. It's pretty on the nose. It's a bit silly, but I quite liked it for what it is. It's nothing too grandiose.
Not directed by anyone I know.
Okay,
Carry
good.
on. Oh, is that? I've seen that film. Oh my god, I completely forgot.
Oh, go on. What do you think?
Who knows? Don't know. Didn't rate it. But it's set on a boat, right, or something?
Yes. Oh, yeah, set on a boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that did not leave an impression.
The second act is. No, and do you know what? It's fair enough because, like I say, I think it's a very, very. I think I rated it like 5 out of 10. And I tried to rate on how good I think something is versus how much I like it, because the like button does exist on Letterboxd. So,
you can say this is shit, but I like it.
Yeah, you can. We all have those, don't we? It was fun. Yeah, not particularly good. I finally finished Carlito's Way.
Fuck's sake. Did you finish the other one?
No, not yet.
Oh my god, that's actually a month away. That's like a month ago that you started a film.
Yeah, but I've not been at home for 2.5 weeks.
Doesn't matter. You've started a film a month ago that you haven't finished. That's crazy.
Watched a film called Under the Tuscan Sun.
You're like, what do you think of Carlito's Way? Bit disjointed.
Yeah, it didn't flow very well, yeah. It feels very long, actually. Drags, Did I mention Under the Tuscan Sun as well, then?
I don't think so.
A terrible film, don't watch that.
Why? Why?
Well, Letterboxd has got that handy feature, isn't it? When you log something, it'll suggest stuff.
No, I don't look at it.
Well, this is where you've been going wrong or right. Yeah. And then, you see lists that people put up and all the rest of it. So
okay. Yeah, you're just ball deep in Letterboxd. This is
balls deep. A film called A Walk in the Woods.
Okay.
Which stars Nick Nolte and...
Love a Nick Nolte. An old Nick Nolte, or is this a
Robert Redford.
Older? Is this a young?
Old. Yeah, old.
Okay.
I've
heard of that. It's based on a Bill Bryson film.
Yeah,
book.
It's a shit version of the Way. You remember the one that caused me so much anguish when I kept saying Santiago de Compostela.
Yeah. Everyone will feel your pain, I'm sure.
Yeah. Santiago de Compostela isn't even what I said, by the way. I said Camino de Compostela. What I should have said was Camino de Santiago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a sort of a lesser version of that, really.
Because you've not read the Bill Bryson book?
No. It's kind of fun. It does get a lot of love from people who've read that book, though. If you read the reviews of it, like, love this book. Very much like, so talking about adaptations that maybe nail the tone of the book, that is possibly one. Mm-hmm. So you really like that book then?
I've not read that book. No,
okay.
I've only listened to a couple of Bill Bryson books.
Yeah.
Good car fodder. Long journeys, get a bit of Bill Bryson on. It's quite nice.
Bugsy, you seen that?
No.
Yeah, it's an Oscar-nominated film. That Bugsy. Warren Beatty in that.
Wait, is this like Bugsy Malone?
Oh well, no, it's not Bugsy Malone. I can't remember what his surname is in the thing, but it's a mob thing. Very strange mob thing.
Benjamin Bugsy Siegel.
Yeah, Siegel, that's it. Very strange thing, I would say. It wasn't very good. But most excitingly, because we received an email, which I'll try to get you to talk about next week.
Okay.
From your friend Will.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some interesting stuff in there, and he's replied again, which I still need to reply back to, actually.
You like your long replies, you two.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot to talk about, mate. FX.
Yes.
FX, the film that I mentioned as being called Illusion, but that was actually the tagline, which was on the back of Cocktail, because it's Brian Brown. You
struggle with getting the names of things and the things. I'm surprised you didn't just name the movie studio rather than the movie.
Yes, exactly. So FX actually came out the same year as Cocktail, 1986.
That was a big year for him.
Yeah, it was a big year for him. So I watched FX, and then Will put me onto the fact there's a sequel, which I'd never seen. So I've watched FX and FX2.
Yeah.
And very much enjoyed those. They are very much what they are. Lots of fun. Will says he prefers FX2. He's wrong. But... But yeah, they were both fun. So yeah, I've watched loads. What about you?
I've watched movies that people have heard of.
Well, that's a bit sniffy, isn't it? Given you're the one that likes all the fucking...
Go on.
I can't remember the guy's name. All the Japanese stuff. The animated.
Yeah, fucking Japanese. Yeah.
All the animated stuff.
Anyway, so I've been continuing
You've watched about 19 movies of it or whatever, where everybody else has only ever seen Spirited Away and My Neighbour.
Don't judge everyone by your own standards.
Well, likewise.
Well, indeed. Yeah, so I've watched...
Will had heard of them. We should get Will on the podcast instead of you.
As I keep saying to Will, like, you should really do a podcast. And he says, yeah, but the only person that I would do it with, it fucked off and did it with someone else. It was a funny message that he sent the other day. He was like, it was where we were talking about, and I mentioned that you had a beard. He goes, Andy has a beard. You are replacing me. It's funny. Anyway, so I've watched Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, shite.
Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's great. And The Spy Who Loved Me. But, yeah, indeed. So that's part of my Bond education.
So they're the only two you've watched?
Yes, I've been on holiday and I've been very busy.
Hang on a minute.
I have watched non-Bond films as well.
No.
No, I've watched other ones before that, but we've already talked about those. I don't want to repeat myself. I watched Goldfinger.
Yeah, you did talk about that.
That's the only one I watched.
So your first Moore one?
More one was
The Spy Who Loved Me?
Spy Who Loved Me, yeah.
Well, you missed out Lazenby?
Yeah, I will come back to him, but I did miss him out.
All right. And you went straight to...
Only because, runtime.
Oh, for God's sake.
Because I'm watching with Emma and she goes to bed at a time. You know, you need to fit the runtime in. So I will go back and do it. If I could just stop having other things to do, I will crack on with it. Anyway, I watched Past Lives.
Not seen it.
Very good.
Yeah,
you should
I've heard. Yeah.
I particularly enjoyed it because going to New York in the next couple of months and very sort of good sort of New York skylines and shots and stuff. But yeah, I thought I'd like it more than I did. I expected it to be a proper like love-in here. But yeah, it didn't quite connect. Although on reflection, a lot of very good things about it. Very well made film. Big fan of it.
They can stay with you sometimes, can't they, films?
Yeah. And then Challenges, I watched, which is one I've been meaning to watch for a while. Big film from earlier this year. So that's got old Zendaya, don't know how you pronounce it.
Zendaya is what I've heard.
Zendaya.
She's come out of nowhere, wasn't she?
No, she was like a child star. Like,
Was she?
Yeah, like pop. She does little. I'm pretty sure she does like some.
Past Lives is actually on
Disney.
my watch list.
Yeah, it's very good. I would watch it. I think you enjoy it. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Challenges was good. Good use of music. Like I think is it Trent Reznor?
Trent Reznor. Yeah, the Nine Inch Nails guy.
Yeah. So I think they did that. It's good. And then continued Theo's education with Ghostbusters.
Nice.
Yeah, so we'll watch Ghostbusters 2 next, and then maybe the...
I think Ghostbusters 2 is that the slime one with a pink hand.
I struggle with...
I was scared by Ghostbusters as a kid.
Yeah, it's not that scary now.
No, it's not. It's silly, isn't it? I have got one more, which following on from the Predator, because I loved watching Predator so much. When I logged it, again, Letterboxd leads you on to things. Prey.
Oh yeah, the newer Predator version. Yeah.
Now, as the sequels go, best one by a mile, because it really taps in most to the original. But yeah, definitely worth a watch. Prey. It still doesn't match up to the original for me. It's got some issues, and I do have a soft spot for Alien vs Predator Requiem. But yeah, very good.
So there was good. I did a bit of social media-ing whilst away to get out there a little bit. And someone had asked a very basic question of Chewbacca versus Predator.
Ah, yes.
Who wins?
Yeah.
And I'd said Predator. Come on, like the technology's completely outmatched Chewbacca technologically and all of that. And the guy replied, "The Predator just lost to an indigenous teenager in colonial times. He lost to somebody with 18th century technology. Even with massive technological advantage, the Predator somehow finds a way to lose. Massive underachiever."
Yeah, which is a good observation, but you see what I replied to him?
Oh, no.
As I pointed out, Predator is very much like the bull and the Spanish bull ring.
A bull in the bullfight, yeah.
Yeah. The bull may well lose, but that's because it has been softened up.
Oh, so on a one-to-one,
one-to-one, that bull wins every time, mate.
Like it.
So Predator knocks the shit out of Chewbacca.
It annoys me about Twitter and social media. Like when it doesn't alert me when you on my own account tell what's happening. So I've no idea what you're doing. You've no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we talk about this fucking film?
We should really, shouldn't we?
Right. Anyway, so the data. IMDb 8.0. 8.0. 8.0. Who am I? Letterboxd 3.8. Metascore is aligned perfectly, 80. So one of those ones where it's perfectly aligned with the old audience and the critics. I had rated this a 4 and an 8 on IMDb. I'm guessing Carl's a straight 2er.
No, to what I was saying earlier, I would go higher than that.
2.5.
Go
With a not like
3. I don't like it, but I would go maybe 3, maybe 3.5.
Oh wow!
It looks great.
Yeah. 3.5 silent. I think it is.
Yeah, I 3. Let's say 3. I think I'm about there.
Okay, cool. I'm going to add that in just because I always look back on these and have no idea what you said. Nominations. So it was nominated for 7 Oscars and didn't win a single one. But this is going to be interesting because the things it lost out to, you're going to be like, yeah, fucking right. It lost out to that. So Best Picture lost out to in the 2016 Oscars, Spotlight.
Yeah, good film.
Yeah, you like that one, don't you?
Yeah.
Lead actor, Damon lost out to Leo in The Revenant.
Not seen The Revenant.
Not seen The Revenant either. But I feel like Damon could have. I feel like he could have got it. The rest of the actor noms weren't huge. I think could have been about. Adapted screenplay lost to another one of your favourites, The Big Short.
Oh yeah, I do like The Big Short.
And then also lost on sound mixing, sound editing, visual effects, production design. Who knows?
Well, we don't know what we're doing.
No idea. All right, rewatchability, Carl. Where are you on the rewatchability scale?
Oh, it's a no, I think.
No, just a no.
Yeah, just a no.
I think it's a yes for me, but for probably exact reasons why it's a no for you. Best scene.
I don't have one. Really struggled with best scene.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought there was a few. There's one that I wrote down as I was rewatching it, and you would not have got it at all. So this is Project Elrond.
Right.
Where they're just around and goes like, what is this? It's a project. We've called it Project Elrond, which is a Lord of the Rings reference.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant because it is Sean Bean who explains what this is, and Sean Bean was at the meeting that they're talking about in the Lord of the Rings as Boromir. So it was brilliantly meta. It was fantastic.
I think another geek pointed that out on a Letterboxd review there, Ed, you know.
Oh, it was fantastic. I genuinely was just like, oh! And I quite like Kristen
You're like
Wiig's.
that Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Exactly. And then Kristen Wiig's reaction of that, of just when she's just not getting it at all, which is, I hate every single one of you. I just like that. I mean, that matched exactly my experience of the movie with that levity and the little nods and things like that.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, rather than that, than a dramatic scene for me. Quotes? Any quotes that particularly stick out?
Yes, I have got a quote. Maybe you could guess it actually.
I don't know. None of the ones I've written down are particularly spring into my feed.
It is Sanders, Colonel,
Yep.
the Colonel.
Yeah.
And it is, does anyone know a safer way to shave any time off? Which I thought was really good.
Basically, cut through the shit, right?
It's a shame it then blows up.
Yeah, you're gonna have yeah. What was it?
But I think that
the cubes of protein or something liquefied. So,
yeah, I think it really speaks to how good his character was when tough decisions and all the rest of it, and very, very direct. Like, well, that's just how it is. Suck it up.
It finds things 1 in 20 times, so fuck it. Let's take it. Take the odds. Play the odds. So I had a few different. I've mentioned, I think, all of them. The only one I've not mentioned, I think, was I don't want to come off as arrogant here, but I'm the greatest botanist on this planet. Which it's just a simple thing, but I quite liked it. But I think my favourite was it has been 7 days since I ran out of ketchup.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
Favourite character?
Only in context. But,
in context. Yeah, out of context, it's shit. If we do these quote competitions
that's
again,
been my problem when we do that.
It's going to suck.
When we did that quote thing.
Oh, it's not going to get very far.
Yeah.
No. Because the common one to go for here would be, I'm going to science the shit out of this, right? I'm fine with it. But, yeah, I don't know. I think there's better quotes. But in the competition, in a bracket, it's not going to do well.
Yeah.
Favourite character? Difficult.
Oh, easy. Sanders.
Okay, yeah. I think it was my... Obviously not going for Mark Watney. Teddy Sanders would probably be my one.
I mean, you can throw Watney in there. I'm still going Sanders.
Yeah. yeah. Tearjerker, I'm guessing no for you.
I think it's... did I say no or very no? I think it's a no. Yeah.
No.
I mean, I could go very no on this because again, it just didn't land for me.
Yeah, can we go meh? Because I didn't. But there was a couple of points where I was just like, I'm feeling it, but it wasn't quite there. So I think I'm going to go meh.
Yeah.
That's the right thing, isn't it? Meh?
Yeah.
What, Jerker? Gratuitous nudity?
Very no.
I mean, I don't know. Skinny, naked Matt Damon from behind. Was that needed?
Well, yeah.
Is it necessary?
No, then. Are you going to meh?
I don't know.
You going to yes? No, you can't go yes.
In terms of gratuity, like, there was no need for it.
Yeah, I suppose
you don't need a naked back of a man to show that he's skinny. You could do literally his back to show that he's skinny.
Yeah, okay.
Topless. So I don't know. I think I might be going yes.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, it's pretty mild.
Oh yeah. It's not Wolf of Wall Street, which we sometimes talk down to. Oh, it's all right. It's in context.
Yeah. So the top threes. We were going to do top three Damon before I reminded you that we'd already done it.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'd be interested to see if we did do it, whether it'd be the same.
Yeah.
But the only addition that we'd have, which probably appeared since we last did it, was, did you see the Super Bowl advert that he did?
No.
The Dunkings.
No.
Where he did it with with Ben Affleck and a couple of others. It's brilliant. You should watch it on YouTube. It is very funny. But we decided to do top three survival movies, which just loosely fits in.
Yeah. Oh, it fits in.
Yeah. What have you got? Number three.
Number three. You will never guess.
Okay. Shall I try? Or?
There has been a remake of this film. I've seen bits of it, but I'm going for the original. It's a film called Flight of the Phoenix.
The crashed plane in a desert?
Yeah, and they essentially have to build a new plane to get out.
I've seen the original. I think I've seen the remake with
Giovanna Ribisi
and one of the, what are they called? What's the guy called? Oh, he's got like I don't even know if they are brothers, but there's lots of surnames that are the same. I can't remember what he's called.
Yeah, I mean that narrows it down.
Yeah, it helps my own brain, but you frantically Googled that weird hint that I gave you that.
Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid and Randy Quaid. Yeah, Dennis Quaid's captain.
Yep. Okay.
It's okay the remake, but the original's very good. What's your number three?
Number three, Life of Pi. Seen it?
Long time ago.
Yeah, I like that. Number two.
Number two. Now you could guess this one if you'd been paying attention.
I won't have been.
Number two is 13 Lives.
Oh yeah, I saw that come up. I've still not seen that. That's on my list. I do need to watch it. Yeah. So I'm gonna go 127 hours for number two.
Mm-hmm.
You seen that one?
It? No.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's got a good rep.
Yeah.
Good rep.
And then number one, Carl, what have we got?
You must be able to guess number one.
Apollo 13.
No.
Castaway.
No.
I don't know.
The Castaway's good. Nearly made it into number three, but no. Dunkirk.
Oh. I suppose. Okay, fine.
Oh, I mean, it's 100% a survival movie. It's not a war movie. That.
So I'm between Castaway and Apollo. I can't be between them because I've...
Yeah, you would have put one of those as number two.
I'm going to go for Apollo 13.
So what are you doing with Castaway?
It's number 4.
Is it? Yeah?
Yeah.
That's how that works.
I didn't just make that up. All right, Carl, you got anything else?
Nope.
All right, well, that is all we've got, guys. So if we move the needle for you, or even if we didn't, please do rate us, follow, subscribe wherever you are listening, and leave us a 5-star review. It really does nibble the ear of the algorithm and get us out there to a larger, more emotionally stable audience. Our Twitter and Instagram is MTN Movie Pod. You can find our page on Facebook, and details can all be found in the show description. And our YouTube channel is at Movie the Needle. So for me and Carl, it's goodbye.
Simon, we have a TikTok.
Oh, and there's TikTok. There we go.
Yeah, and there's stuff on TikTok.
Oh my God. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So for me and Carl, it's goodbye.
We have one comment on our TikTok videos. Do you know what it says?
No.
Someone called Bo Jeff, and it says, I don't like Predator or other thing.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Cheers, Bo Jeff.
So for me and Carl, it's goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'm off to market the Martian diet. Nothing but potatoes and a hint of starvation. What do you mean the Irish did this in the 1860s?
Ooh.